Let's get ready. All right. It's Gino Spot. Sit down now. Get yourself a drink. Sit down, relax. Let your stresses fade away. It's time for Gino Spot. We're nearly ready for you. We're just fiddling around behind the stage. Just fiddling backstage with the buttons. Don't just step into the circle, you feel shy. Feel all the fuss and why. When everybody's looking, don't you sigh. 'Cause you've mystified us.
Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. Drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver. Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.
Gino Shot!
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gino Spot Thursday night. Woo! And we are in with a live performance tonight and ready to go. It's been a fantastic, lovely week. I've just come back from Spa function in one of our sponsors, by the way. Spa, of course, they're having their virtual run. They've just launched it. 3rd of September, it is going to be happening. The virtual run all across the country. Don't forget. Put it in your diary. Make sure that the bookings are now open for their tickets as well. So make sure that you get your ticket. You get a T-shirt and a buff and a hole and a medal and everything. You get a medal, and then you can run anywhere you like on the 3rd of September. Any distance, anywhere you like. They're not fussy. They're not going to be moaning at you if you only run 100 meters. Doesn't matter. If that's all you can do, that's fine. So we launched that in a glittering affair night before last, and it was amazing in Cape Town, at the Lagoon Beach in Milnerton, and it was a marvelous event with lots of glitz and glamour. It reminded me of some of these amazing Michelle Brown things that happens here. Fantastic at the boardwalk or wherever. or one of Liesl Gravenstein's amazing parties that they have every year. It's very, very lush. And fantastic, and so they've launched that. Of course, we have on the 28th of this month is the Grand Prix series, where the pro runners, the guys that Alec Riddle gets to know. I'm sure he's going to be there as well, doing a bit of commentating, and they're going to be doing the 10K run, and they've got some of the top runners in the world. I mean, these women, they are running 10Ks in just over 30 minutes, just like around about 30 minutes for 10Ks. That's like 3 minutes per K. You know, when you're running the fastest that you can possibly run, or let's say you jump off the roof of the house and you fall, that speed that you fall at, I think that's as fast as they're running, and they run it for 10Ks. Okay, some comments coming up as well. Hello, guys. Lovely to have you on. Of course, Sid Meier is on tonight. We've got Sid Meier, the mayor of transport in PE. We're going to be chatting to him. He's just backstage here. You can, even if you look carefully, you can see a little bit of blue over there. That's him, actually. Yeah, move this arm. Move that arm, Sid. There we go. Marvelous. Sid is sitting just backstage, and what happened to Mandla? Unfortunately, he couldn't make his slot on Tuesday. We're going to try and reschedule with Mandla. We're going to be doing extra and having a shortened what do you call it? Like a look back in time to some of our shows as well. And we're going to be doing that at some stage. But Tuesday, unfortunately, Tuesday didn't happen. But Thursday Thursday we are going to be, obviously Thursday is now, and the weather is beautiful, and it's a fantastic, beautiful evening, and we're going to have Sid Meier on tonight. Camilla Ellis, hi everybody, does running up and down at work count? Well, I suppose it might. Maybe you should just run a little bit outside, and then you can count it as a run. Ivan Newman, greetings, Ivan Newman, to all of you. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you get yourself a drink, because you need a drink, some sort of drink in your hands. Lovely. You know, you can make it anything. You can have a coffee or water, even. But, you know, if you've got a gin and tonic, even better, because, of course, we have a little bit of Fitch and Leeds. And Keith Clark, we got some of the punters. Keith popped in, you know, gave us a bit of punters. Love that indeed. So we've got something to go on with, and of course Sid's got his drink as well. So we're going to have a lovely chat tonight, and we're going to chat all about cricket, because of course Sid played cricket, and we're going to talk about Intertown Transport, and we're going to talk about all sorts of stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me sing you in. Tell me where you're watching from. And special things, of course, Fat Cats Catering as well. Fat Cats, every now and again, they pop in with a little bit of chow for us, and we do appreciate that grace from Fat Cats. I'm sure they're working hard tonight at some function, which is always lovely. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Gino Spot. Let me sing you in. Give me some comments. Let me know where you're watching from and what you're drinking or what you're doing. Tell me anything. It's fun. You can do it. Duncan Young, that's right. Woo. If you're Duncan Young and you're living in Cheltenham, or you're Wendy Swan and loving your tune playing on the radio, that's right, it's called Scooter Scoot, and it's number 22 last week. So if you listen to Algoa, you can hear it marching up the charts. Yeah, that's right. Ian Van Staden. That's my mother's maiden name. Wendy Tompkins Thompson. Brett Hilliard from the boardwalk. And wherever he's working up on the reef, there's Mark Van Vieren. Hello, Kathy Marsh. Hey, Brett, I hope you, Lou, and Lindy are well. I'll just pass on that message for you. Chatting to each other in the comments. Brendan Kelly's here. Says back in B at last. Now I can't go visit Michelle, 'cause you're here to stay. I'll have to sneak off someday. Den van de Vestdays. I did a wedding up in Tokestad. It was lekker. There were lots of farmers all around. Woo! Kerry Stewart. All the way from VP. I don't know what happened there. It disappeared. Whoop-a-tick-boom. Gone. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Kerry, lovely to see you. All the way from Komiki as well. Ex-VP guys, ex-VP Oaks are around tonight. I don't know if Alvin's here, but he normally gets me to sing something rather rude when I'm doing the songs. Brian Wilkins says, here we go again, indeed. Tippin, Chris, how's it, Tippin? Lovely to see you. We're lying on your bed, eh? Is that how it is? Where's your drink, Tippin Crisp? We need to get Duncan to bring it through. Duncan, of course, DJ extraordinaire. Laura Harvey, watching from Luca Vineyards, Plettenberg Bay. Excellent. I did a function there for Duncan Brown a little while ago. Fantastic venue. I absolutely love that place, Laura. It's just beautiful. I mean, we were looking, there were animals running around outside. It was, and the beautiful, wonderful food. I liked the deck of it was like an open place. You could just, like, the breeze was floating through Plettenberg Bay. It was December. It was beautiful. I think we'll have to pop in there for something to eat soon again. And so welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic to have you on board. We're going to get into our guest soon, but we have something very exciting for you. We did a little advert today with Fires Van Vieren, and he's got a bit of a surprise for us. Let's take a look.
In the studio with me, we have Fires Van Vieren, slightly taller than me, but ready for some fantastic news. Tell us, Mike.
Tuesday night, 24th of May. We've been roped in by Gino and Gary. It'll be quite a few members from the victorious EP cricket side of the 1980s under Kepler. It'll be Dave Callahan, Merrick Pringle, Mark Rushmere, hopefully Kenny McKeown, Tim Shaw, and yours truly. And we look forward to sharing some of the many memories from the Kepler era. And more importantly, you as the public, you can make your comments, share some memories, have some chirps, tell us how good or bad we were. And yeah, we look forward to spending the evening with you. Tuesday, 24 May.
Tuesday, 24 May. Don't miss out.
That's going to be incredible. I know. I could just see those oaks together as well. We're going to have to stock up on the beers, I think, as well, Gary. And we'll make it in for a long night. But that sounds like such fun. We're going to hear the backstories, what happened in the dressing rooms. I think that's what we want to hear. And especially at that time, which was such a glorious time for cricket, indeed. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get our guest on the show. Sid Meier's in tonight. Let's call him on.
Welcome to the show. Now it's your time to shine. We're gonna have a lekker chat tonight. Another good time.
Oh, we need the microphones. We forgot about those. You know, when we've got tech, when you have to do your tech yourself, you know, you often.
There we go.
But Sid Meier, lovely to have you on, man. Cheers to you.
You too.
You know,
thanks for inviting me.
You were requested by I don't know how many people along the way, you know.
I hope not.
And and you're just the kind of person we like to have on the show, you know. Sort of entrepreneurial vibe as well, and a business person who's just had his head down and been going. Also with a bit of sporting history, which is also great. But I mean, ITT at the moment is that your main thrust in life, shall we say?
It is, it's been a fantastic opportunity to be involved in ITT. I've got two fantastic partners, Grant Tomlinson, and we've just brought in a new partner, Ken Light.
Okay.
For me, it's been 10 years now, and 10 years, and I met Grant at a school braai.
Is that how it works?
At Collegiate, yeah. And, he said to me, what do you do? And I told him at that time that I wasn't doing much when I just got back to Port Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And he said, well, come and have a chat to me.
Yeah.
And I remember on the Monday, I was coming back from gym.
Yeah.
And I thought, should I phone him? And I phoned him, and he said, come and have a chat to me. And, it led to the next thing, and about 2 months later I was working there.
Yeah.
And I'd said to him, look, I would be interested in investing in the business.
Okay.
And about 2-3 months later it all happened, and we bought out his then partner, John Keats.
Okay.
And that was now, I think it was 10 years ago. So it's
2012,
been fantastic.
2012, is it?
Yeah.
2012. Gee whiz.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Intertown as well has become part of the. I mean, it's a big company. But is it Eastern Cape mainly,
so very much so. Yeah, we were originally Western Cape, Eastern Cape based, and about 2 or 3 years ago we decided to open up in Johannesburg.
Okay, as well.
And obviously that's led to us being able to bring freight down from the Johannesburg area into our 4 main hubs, which are Cape Town, Port Elizabeth, East London, and George.
I suppose your vehicles were going into those places anyway, isn't it? A matter of just expanding those.
They were. So that's what we've done. So into those 4 main hubs, we've expanded out of that, and all in all, we now have 19 branches.
Wow, yeah.
And 16 agents.
Incredible.
So the business has grown.
I think it's such a recognizable brand that when it gets to be known nationally, like in a big way, I mean, that'll take off like a.
Well, hopefully, we've just ventured into a very exciting space. We're going into online.
Okay.
And we've started an online business called WW Courier Online.
Yeah.
Grant was very instrumental in starting that a couple of years ago.
How does it work? Is it?
So you can go online and you can put in whatever you want to, and say you want to move something from A to B, and it happens. Yeah.
And just
so
back it up and bring it.
Yeah, and that space has obviously opened up for us, and I think it's the future. Yeah. And so we're very excited about what we're going to do.
Okay, and I suppose you also have those companies that are your anchors, I suppose, that use you exclusively, or do you have let's say if it's a Fitch and Leeds or if it's a, you know, Gary De Bruyne. Come
Gary
on,
De
Gary.
Bruyne.
You know, I don't know. You know, it's those kind of companies that use, because generally businesses are all about logistics. I mean,
Yeah,
you've got to get your
absolutely.
product where it's got to get.
Absolutely, and you've got to be able to deliver the product.
On
and
time.
Deliver it on time,
Yeah.
obviously. So, yeah.
And consistently.
And consistently. So, Intertown has been able to do that. I mean, Intertown's been around in Port Elizabeth for almost now, it's 43 years.
Yeah.
And I said it earlier, but Grant's been involved in that for 31 years.
Yeah.
So, he's been a real, you know, he's respected in the industry.
Stalwart, yeah.
And well known in the industry. And
Yes.
that's obviously helped a lot. And then with Ken coming in now,
Okay.
between the two of them, they add huge value to the
Was
business.
he
And,
also in-
he
in
was,
logistics?
yeah, Ken was. He held big positions in Sun Couriers and
Sun,
UTI. He's come back to the Eastern Cape. He went to school in Union High in
Oh, really?
Graafrenet.
Graafrenet.
Yeah, Graafrenet.
Yeah, so,
yeah.
yes, sir.
So he's an Eastern Cape boykie.
Yeah,
and yeah, we're having fun and
Yeah.
really enjoying it. I'm supposed to be looking after the sales and marketing, which I do.
Yes.
But,
Okay.
Yeah, it's lovely having those guys on board, and it's also, you know, we enjoying ourselves.
And obviously growing then if you
Yeah.
moved up to Joburg and
Yeah.
those centres are now growing. So I find it fascinating how these, I mean, you're getting a truck coming down from Joburg to PE, then it goes back, can't go back empty. You know, you've got to fill it up with stuff.
Well,
What do
those
you
are the
do?
challenges that we have, you know,
Yeah.
and not always does it happen like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to balance that up between getting freight coming out of Johannesburg into our region.
Yeah.
And that's really our niche, is that we are able to, you know, service a customer out of the Johannesburg up north South Africa and bring it back down into the bottom of South Africa,
Yeah.
which is our strength.
Okay.
I think we probably got one of the best networks in the East and Western Cape.
Absolutely.
And,
I'm
we
sure-
pride ourselves in that, yeah.
Intertown gives the impression that it can go to smaller
Correct.
places.
100%.
Such a good idea. That name is such a good name. It's like, you know, you immediately think, oh, well, I can use Intertown. You know, I'll just send it to Graafrenet or, you know, to Duchwa. It's fine. It can go.
We'll get it
You
there.
know, we'll get it there.
Yeah.
To that place. It's great. And I like I said, do your clients also the spas and the retailers and that as
So
well?
we do FMCG as well, and we obviously do pharmaceutical. So we do the likes of Alpha Farm,
Wow.
UPD. And we become quite experienced and good at doing that.
Okay, because those need to be refrigerated and stuff. I mean.
Not always, not always. So we don't have refrigerated trucks. We've got in excess of 220 trucks, closed body
Yo.
vehicles. Yeah.
Okay. Garth Webster saying, so Sid, it's been a long haul. He's making a joke.
That would be Gothy. That would be Gothy.
You better put, you know, that's why he's so good at those bloody signs at the top of Main Road.
Correct, yeah.
He puts them out there every day for the people to read and then crash into the person in front of them. Okay. Roseanne Biggs, let's have a look at some of the comments coming in, right? Hey, Cindy, Roseanne, who's
My
that?
cousin.
Oh, your
My
cousin. Bit
yeah.
of family on board.
Yeah, a bit of family on board.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Wendy now. How's it, Wendy? From a hot Kuwait. Oh, Lord. Yo. I always wonder about these, you know, Kuwait and the UAE and how, do you have to wear burqas and stuff when you're there as a woman as well? Brandon Bentley, Mr. Woody, DJ Bentley here.
Yeah. Brandon worked for us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he worked for Intertown for a while.
But he was also
But he's correct. I think he's back now in Port Elizabeth. I think he was
Okay.
in Dubai.
Oh, lovely.
And he's back working now for one of the other courier companies.
Okay. So Michael van Staden, now from Joburg. Oh, van Staden, he's daar. And Brandon says, currently watching from East London, having a cold stout. Lovely, man. Very good for breastfeeding, that stout, I believe, eh? Brandon, I was told. Wendy Thompson, are they all going to be in the studio on the 20th? Yes, they are, Wendy. We're going to get all those bastards in the studio. The whole lot of them.
I see she's mentioning Da'a. We do deliver to Da'a.
Excellent. It's where the trains all meet. Eh?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've been to Da'a. We actually did a gig there once. The hell of a thing. ITT highly recommended, even do daily runs to the Tsitsikamma.
There we go.
Reliable, friendly, and professional. Thanks, Wendy. It's true. Like, that does give you the impression of being a local company, but
Absolutely.
you're all over the place.
We are.
Yeah. Burton Forbes There we go, City, my mate. Last time I saw you lapping Brent Kiwi in Peter Mansfield doing your fitness.
Yeah, I remember Brandon. I remember him.
Brent
Oh, bless
Kiwi. Don't be so nasty to Brent. He's quite fit, you know. He's just got that eye problem. You know, you can't check a ball in the middle. You can only check the balls on the
Correct,
side. He's
yeah.
got that thing. So Jeff Applewhite, he said, I booked an ITT courier for tomorrow. We'll be using a Bedford or a Magirus. What? What is a Magirus Deutsch? You have to do that impression for us on the Gino Spot. What is that? A Bedford?
A Bedford. Oh, my dear.
I've heard about this,
Have
actually.
you?
He's not the first one to come to me and say, you got to do the Bedford.
Probably heard from Fires today. 'Cause when he
I
phoned me
might
up
be-
and he said, listen, are you going to do the Bedford and
Yes.
the David Russ? And
Yes.
do you know, let me tell you, this is, you know,
Well, let's bring on, wait, before you do that, let's bring on Fires quickly. Let's bring him on. Let's say we've got a little thing here from Fires to a little hello from Fires.
I'm going to tell those stories. One being
Yeah. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Jonathan Sidney Meyer. You thought you'd escape me. I phoned you this morning. I put in a very respectful request. You said to me that you're not going to tell those stories. One being the mosquito, the other being the Bedford, the Vet Russ, and then Neil Thompson has also added a couple of requests, Lady Di and Blueberry Hill. So Gino and Gary have been instructed you're not leaving that or going through that door until those stories are told tonight. So just prime Mrs. Meyer and your kids that you might only be home at 8 tomorrow morning. Sid, wonderful guy, great character. We look forward to listening to you tonight, Sid. Have a great evening, my man.
all I can say is thanks, Fires, but I mean, you've put me on the spot
You
now.
know.
I mean, most of the people watching here, I mean, my dear wife will probably be saying, oh my God, please don't. Please don't allow him to do
The
that.
Gino Spot allows for stuff
Do you
like
know where
this.
that came from? I mean, you know, when I was in the army in Een Suid-Afrikaanse Infantry Battalion, and
Oh, is it?
so I used to drive the
Oh,
Bedfords, take the Bedford and all the rubbish
Dis
out of
correk.
camp.
Vat hy Bedford, kom.
Yeah, that's
Meyer.
it. Exactly all that.
Vat hom.
And so I sort of developed a little story behind it,
Yes.
around it.
Yes.
And then obviously you'll remember a guy by the name of David Russ. He speaks of David Russ. He was a South African Springbok rugby player.
Rugby player.
And while in Bloem, I used to obviously go and watch a lot of
Yes,
rugby
Vrystaat.
matches.
It wasn't
And
the Cheetahs, it was OFS.
I worked out how to take him off with his big behind and how he kicks a rugby ball and all the rest. But we can't do that yet.
All right.
And as for the Bedford, I mean, look, you know, I did that for many, many years, but I'm not sure that your spot's the place to do it. So Fires is going to have a look later tonight and say, why didn't you do
Do you
that?
do it through do you do it through a
It's
specific
just
hole
it's
or
just a sound. Yeah,
A sound?
you know, of the
Okay.
Bedford and
Do you
how
want
it
a
works.
microphone with it? Come on.
I don't. I really
Okay,
don't.
you
I
sure you don't?
Maybe just
Don't
later
we'll
on
wait till-
we'll
wait
give
till-
you just the starting portion of it. But,
Okay. What's the starting portion?
It's just the way it starts. Yeah.
Is it,
Just
and it's
gives
a big thing, eh?
It's a big thing. And
It's
it,
a big.
you're obviously pushing for me to do this.
No, great. Because I remember the stories about them. They used to, if they were tired of riding them, they used to just park them against a tree and then let the clutch out.
Correct. And the funny thing is, every time I used to just start doing it,
Yeah.
Fires would fall over and start racing. So he's probably the only person that wants to see me do that. So
No,
At this
we've
stage.
heard a few people say that. as
I'm
well.
not sure. I don't know if I can do it tonight.
All right, we'll wait until later.
We'll wait,
We'll
we'll
try.
wait.
We'll try and make it wait until later. But no, so ITT is taking up your time. At the
It is,
moment,
yeah.
eh? It's
yeah,
doing that stuff.
Yeah.
eh?
And it's been fantastic, as I said, yeah. And, you know, I think the most important thing for us as well is the fact that it's a PE-based business.
Yes.
And
Head office, yeah.
yeah, and you know, we often speak about the
that.
fact that it's now 43 years old and it's still going.
Going strong.
There's many courier companies, multinational courier companies are still not going today. And I think we're actually probably one of the biggest privately owned courier companies in South Africa,
Yeah.
let alone the Eastern Cape.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, to a certain degree, I said it earlier, it's testimony to what Grant built in those early years. And we are,
So the foundation is
yeah,
good.
the foundation's good.
And the staff, I mean, your
Yes.
management staff and that, you've got a strong...
Yeah, you know, we employ about 700 people now.
Wow.
So it has grown.
Yeah.
And yeah, very excited and very privileged to be part of it.
Amazing. But let's go back into your history a bit, you know. Let's
Okay.
just check out things. I won't go into the development side yet because you did a couple of developments just before, I presume just before you joined. But,
Yes,
thing as
yes.
well. But let's go right back to the beginning. Let's go like where you were born and
So I knew you were going to ask me. I mean, when I tell you where I was
Yeah.
born, I was born in the Kroonstad.
Kroonstad.
Yeah, my father was there for
Yes,
a year.
sir.
And I happened to, you know, obviously born at that time. We were only there for a year, but we actually lived in Grahamstown. So I went to school at Kingswood in Grahamstown for my early years.
Border as well? Or no?
No, I was a day boy.
Day boy,
Yeah,
day boy.
my dad worked in Grahamstown. My mom, we lived
What was your
there.
dad doing then?
He worked for I don't know if you ever remember the old Eastern Province Building Society.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's right. He
Eastern
worked for them.
Province Building Society.
And I went to Kingswood, and that's
okay.
where everything
So
started.
Grahamstown boy,
So
eh?
Grahamstown boy,
Lovely.
yeah.
Got in touch with all those Albany farmers, huh?
Lower Albany.
Yes, Lower Albany, that was the one.
That's
I
it.
speak like I talk about the Kenton
you would.
Hotel, eh?
Yeah, that's it.
And
That's
Boet
it. That's it. But
And Swart, those are the guys out there. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. 1820 settlers. Eh?
that's it.
Okay.
So that's where I grew up, and then I was very
Kingswood right the way through.
right the way through, and
Wow.
then very fortunate. You spoke about cricketers just now,
Yes.
and Fire spoke about those Eastern Province cricketers. I was really just one of the average cricketers, but
Okay.
I was fortunate enough to, at a later stage, and after I left UP, because I came to I came to UP.
UPE as well. Okay.
I was lucky to get a small bursary.
What did
and,
you study?
I studied BCom Industrial Psychology, but let's
Oh.
not go to the studying.
I was there as well. I also did BCom Industrial Psychology.
But I was, I didn't do that well on the study side. The cricket side and playing sport was more my interest, I suppose.
Okay. So,
And
so you flunked a lot of stuff there.
yeah, but spent many years at UP.
Yes.
I think I got the varsity of life.
Okay.
I fortunately got to UP, and I played a little bit of cricket. After that, I went to Old Grey, and then the Joburg
So the
opportunity
clubs,
came up.
the club cricket, because
Yeah.
I mean, we always talk about the fact that club cricket was really, it was prolific back then. The guys were doing well, and it was a strong league.
It was a very strong league, and in fact, I always look at UP cricket in those days when we were there. That it was as strong as what Stellenbosch Rugby is today.
Yeah.
Courtier was in charge at that stage, and they were wonderful cricketers. I mean, as I said, I was just one of many,
Yeah.
and I wasn't the best.
Yeah.
But I was very fortunate enough to make my first class debut
Okay.
for Eastern Province B at that stage. In those,
EP.
and in those days, first class cricket was A section and B section.
Yes.
And later, when I moved up to Joburg, I played for Transvaal and Northern Transvaal.
Wow,
And
So a bit of first class.
but
there,
again,
maybe.
at the level that I could play at, and
Yeah.
I was very fortunate to play against many fantastic cricketers and guys that I thought I'd never ever, play against, and to meet them and play with them was absolutely fantastic.
Well,
And
like fires, haven't they?
yeah, I mean, he was an absolute character. I remember I had to do an army camp in East London one year, and EPB were playing against Transvaal, and they phoned me up and said, look, they knew that I was there, and could I just stand in as 12th man for the 3-day game? And Fires happened to be playing. And I'll never forget, he was like a hero of mine. And first day's play, I was running around taking drinks to the guys on the field, and at the end of play, Fires said, young man, come and sit next to me. And that's probably why he's telling you tonight to do the bed fit and everything else, because he made me that night do all of that in the changing room. But what a character. I mean, he was a guy that he knew how to get a change room going, and I mean,
Well,
you
full
can
of
see that
energy,
in
you know.
himself.
I find
Absolutely.
Fires is always he's got a lot of energy in him, and I love that. He's always like, come on, let's go, let's do it, you know.
No, he lovely guy.
Yeah, it is cool. And it's, I mean, any what kind of like a student were you at school? Were you a studious guy? Were you quite focused?
Not at all. I think you
ADD off the
No,
charts?
I wouldn't say ADD, but probably lazy.
Is it?
Yeah, sport was everything to me. At school, I played rugby, cricket, tennis. And did it all. Tried to.
You try and
do
do
it to the
every
best
single
that
sport.
I could. And then went on to varsity, and obviously, as I said earlier, I got into UPE, and
Sport.
Sport was important, cricket was important, everything else was important, and my studies are. I wouldn't want my kids to hear it, but as my wife always says to me, she says, please don't tell them about your
Study
varsity
days.
life, because it wasn't great.
Study days.
But overall, I really enjoyed it. We had good times in those days. I suppose compared to now, they would have asked me to leave in my second year, but I managed to stay on for a couple of more years.
I don't know, with Ness, Fuss and whatever, it's fine. You can just go for it.
Yeah.
Excellent studio guest, City, says Burton Forbes. Let's have a look. Brad Paul says, "Where's the cane, boss?
Oh dear,
Tell me
dear.
about the cane."
I spoke to you earlier about that.
Yes, we spoke just a little bit before, but I wasn't sure what the
We
story
were talking
was.
about Casey Clark and
Keith,
we've got
yes.
a group. Tell me about the cane. How do I explain that one? Well, there's a whole group of us that used to drink cane every now and again, and as you know, Mainstay has gone off the market.
Yes, was it Mainstay the Getaway?
A Mainstay the Getaway. Yeah.
Getaway.
If you want to, I don't know how it goes.
I know it was
If you want to-
Pulsar the Getaway as well. It was also the Datsun Pulsar, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
so they would be Brad would be making those comments. Brad's a good mate of mine. His dad, Dale Paul.
Okay.
You spoke about Kenton.
Yes,
And,
yes.
He runs the.
Not the Kington Hotel.
No, he doesn't. The hotel's sort of no more.
Oh, right.
But they've got a pizzarella in Kenton. And Brad, you know Brad, you spoke about Brad
Yes,
earlier.
yes, absolutely. Oh, yes, of course, Brad is there, and he's doing the pizzas there at Christmas time and wherever else.
Yeah.
We're going to come there for a Christmas vibe, I think.
I see Mark Palfreman is having
Mike
something to say.
Palfreman is just down the road here in Water Road, you know. He says, first memories of Sid at Varsity was his often sung renditions of Blueberry Hill.
Well, that was what Fires was talking about earlier with
I got a message
with
from
Tomo.
Andy
Yeah.
Smith today
Oh, dear.
saying that you must take your shirt off and sing. Because I believe that was the thing as well.
No, I can't do that.
Okay.
I'm getting nailed here tonight.
Well, clearly you're a social person. You enjoy the social vibes. The opening song should have been Blueberry Hill. It's, yeah, I found my thrill. Oh, but I'm sure you must have done it with the.
I did it with Tomo on a Sunday night
with
at
the
El Cid, if you
Armstrong-
remember.
The Armstrong voice.
Yeah, with the Armstrong voice. That's it.
We'll get him there eventually. We're just going to get a few more punters down the hole. Anybody else? I see this a couple more comments as well there. I see Alan Meyer. How's it, Alan?
Yeah.
A mooi Sid East Cape legend, Alan Meyer. Okay,
Tingo.
excellent. Yes,
Yeah,
that's it.
Alan, he worked at Kariga.
Boetenswaar.
Boetenswaar.
Boetenswaar. There we go.
And,
Now we've interviewed
went to
him
Graham
before.
College in Grahamstown. Yeah,
Him and
I
Brian
know that well.
Mullins.
Brian Mullins, correct.
They
Brilliant.
epitomise the Albany
The Lower Albany.
toll, the Lower Albany toll. Yeah, is it? I got to be Lower Albany. It
That's
can't
it,
be like
Lower
the toll.
Albany.
That's the vibe. And how did you meet Alan? He was through that time at Kingswood. Or?
Yeah, he was actually at Graham College. He's a bit old. I shouldn't say this,
He's
about
very
Alan,
much
but I think he's
older.
much older than I am. But I remember him in
He's an
Grahamstown.
old fart.
Yeah. No, I
He's
definitely do remember him.
From those days.
yeah.
Already. And Brian. Okay.
I see Ronnie Small coming in. Ronnie used to work at Intertown. He was a good
really?
friend of Grant's and a very good farmer in the Queenstown district. Yeah.
Queenstown.
That's
And
it.
we got a couple. We got the Van der Westhuizens. Dane was on.
Yeah,
I
that's
just
right.
did a wedding.
Yeah. I know Dane.
Linda and George, of course, the parents, and they've always been so great about taking care of us. If we ever go to Queenstown, those guys are in there. Civil and General, I think they were the company with George Van der Westhuizen. Jean-Pierre de Beer says, "Hi, Johanton, Jonathan, JP from Cape Town branch.
Yeah,
looking
one
good,
of my
boss.
new sales reps that's just started in Cape Town. Yeah.
Hope he's doing a good job there. Excellent. Have
I
you
think
got
he
a
is. I
glass?
hope he is.
And Mimi Rupp, I don't know if you know, Mimi also ITT customers. They do SmartStone. SmartStone.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's SmartStone. She is an entrepreneur like no other. She's a
fantastic.
go-getter. This lady. Let me tell you, you can't say no to Mimi. Ray Rodakanaki, Ray's dad, George was on a little while ago as well. It's nice to see some clients together. Gino Spot. Hope the system is still doing well, Sid. He says.
It is.
The system.
The system's still
The
working.
System werk, daai system van jou. Clint Anderson, some great business to come out of PE. I know.
Oh my dear, there we go. Bella Bryant.
Yeah, Bella Bryant
Can't
is
take
in the house.
I knew that was going to happen.
Well, Sid, you please do the Bedford.
Comes up again.
You know, Sid, I think you've got to do a little bit of the Bedford.
I can do this. The sort of start.
Give me the start. How's
The
it going?
start,
I like sound effects.
The start goes. If you remember those old Bedfords and
Yeah.
and you know,
Big
they're always
engine.
cold.
Diesel.
Diesel.
Yeah, okay.
Hard to start in the mornings, but this is the only part I'm going to do.
Okay.
Just to go like this. Sissy, I won't do any more.
Bella likes that stuff. She can quit.
So I've done it now.
That's brilliant. It sounds like Lower Albany as well. It's brilliant. Leanne Kiwi, also, please tell us a story. What stories you got?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they want me to tell them.
We'll get to the stories.
We'll probably get
stories.
there.
We'll get to
Yeah.
some stories, I'm sure, about your cricket and stuff too. Please say hi to Grant Tomlinson. Hope you go from strength to strength. Vernon Rippon says, how's it?
Okay.
I don't know. Grant
I'm not sure I
Tomlinson.
know Vernon, but
know
maybe
Grant?
I know Warren Rippon.
Okay, Warren, maybe he's just,
Yeah, he's
could
Eastern
have-
Cape, good mate of mine.
You know, Camilla Ellis, do you work for individuals and not just companies? Do you do?
Yeah, we do.
You do?
I mean, especially with the e-commerce side, so house to house, home to home.
Wow,
We do those
okay.
kind of deliveries as well. So no problem. Yeah, we can.
Yes,
help.
we can.
We can help Camilla.
Of course, we can deliver some books for you, Camilla. She used to be at the library
Okay.
as well, and she's always working hard. Brett Hilliard says, "Well done. The courier game is really tough. Is it a tough industry?"
Yeah, it is a tough industry.
Competition
Yeah,
out
it's very competitive. But I think I think that we're quite fortunate in that we've managed to develop a business in the Eastern Cape, and I don't think there are too many big courier companies in the Eastern Cape. There are obviously multinationals that are opposition to us, but the beauty of our business is that we actually also do their business for them. So we act as a third party to them into
you're
our
small
network.
enough that-
Yeah.
that,
Well, in our network, you see,
yeah, okay.
because what happens is in the main centres they will be opposition to us, but in the outlying areas we do all that. So
Okay, so the
it
contract
does work
as
for us,
well.
yeah.
That's
And
fantastic.
I think that's been sort of our strength, yeah, is that we've been able to make it work in the Eastern Cape over such a long period of time.
Is it like? I mean, often companies are like sort of below the radar nationally. But and so they get that they have that thing of it being a more value for money proposition, or is it not so much with that, or like because it's not an international company, you get the business the local business in terms of people that think, okay, well those guys, there's going to be a lot of like too much or whatever the story is, so you get that the small amounts as well, the individuals and the smaller companies and those things as well. No?
No, we do. We do. But obviously, we, as I said earlier, we are niche. We were a niche business in the Eastern and Western Cape, and obviously with our expansion into Joburg, we've been able to do it all.
And the name's out there.
And the
already.
names are out there,
It's out
and
there.
I think that's important to us. But we
Feels
get a lot
more
of
homely, you
It
know. You
does,
says
yeah.
Intertown, it's okay. It's not, you're not going with a huge multinational.
Yeah.
If you phone someone, you're going to get someone on the phone.
Correct.
I think that's
Yeah.
that's what I was trying to get at there, is that it's got a local feel, you know.
Absolutely. And our infrastructure is local.
Yeah.
So
And PE based, I love that.
And PE based.
Wilhelm Muller. Oh no, I lost another bet. It's ITT, best career company around. Great team.
Thanks, Willem.
Willem, is it Willem?
Yeah,
Or
Willem.
It looks like
Wilhelm.
Wilhelm.
Yeah.
Burton Forbes says he could bowl. Hey?
Only he thought that.
That's it. You're a quick bowler.
I tried to be.
But seamer.
I was a seamer, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
But
great.
yeah.
And tell us a bit about those days. I mean, was it quite... did you go to pro for a while? Or, I mean, it wouldn't be pro. It was always amateur then, isn't it?
It was amateur in those days. In fact, I often tell people that I was very fortunate, even in my little career,
Yeah.
I was very fortunate to play in the amateur era.
Yeah.
And when I got up to Johannesburg, at that time, I don't know if you heard then, there were a lot of us guys that were playing in the provincial, in the bigger provincial provinces, but we weren't getting chances to play too much A-section cricket and that kind of thing. And I got pulled in, a guy by the name of Bruce McBride, who had played for Transvaal then, said, look guys, Eastern Transvaal is now opening up, and they're going to play in the Standard Bank, and in those days the Benson Hedges Night Series.
Eastern Transvaal.
And do you
Was it
guys know?
orange colour?
No, it was blue.
It was blue. Okay.
Do you guys not want to come over and play? And that gave a lot of us guys that were on the fringes of playing in the bigger provinces a chance to play.
Give you a go against the proper...
and playing in the night series especially was
Benson-
very
it was
exciting.
Benson Hedges.
Benson Hedges in
yeah,
those
yeah.
days, and then it became Standard Bank.
Yeah.
And going back to your question about the professional era, I mean, in the non-professional era, I remember playing my first game for Eastern Province B, and we had a practice at George's Park, and after the practice we went to PE PE golf club. I mean PE club.
Yeah, the Hill.
The Hill. No, just the club next to St George's. Sorry,
right,
St George's
yeah,
Club.
yeah.
And we had a couple of beers, and the guy said, "Oh, we meet you tomorrow at the airport, and you get on the plane and you play." And then this sort of semi-professional era came in where I remember I was working at Forsdix BMW in Johannesburg after I just got there. And, they used to let me go at about lunchtime. And it was semi-professional where they said, look, from lunch until 5 o'clock, you must be available to play.
Wow.
And that was about a year and a bit. Okay. And right at the end of it all, it became more professional. They said, okay, fine, now we'll pay you.
Yeah.
And in those days, I mean, I was playing for a really small little province. I think I was getting 8,000 Rand a month.
Wow.
But it was the professional era.
Pretty good.
But what it did do is it made you get fitter.
Yes.
And it made you realize that if you wanted to play at a certain level, you couldn't do what you were doing before.
Yes.
So I was very fortunate to sort of go through those phases and see what it was all about. Even though I said earlier, I was just one of the average cricketers that played the game.
Well, it didn't seem to slow down Fires and Carl Barnester and those guys. I mean, it looks like and Callis. I mean, they seemed to be able to still dop when they were playing.
Not Callis, not Callis. Not Callis.
Not Callis.
No.
He wasn't dopping so much.
No, he didn't do that. Look, Callis, carry on.
No. I said, no. Tell about Callis first. We got Gary puts up questions every now and again.
Who was your biggest scalp?
Yeah, he's asking who was your biggest scalp or your most memorable on-field moment.
I wanted to ask Gary a question before he put that up. Did somebody ask him that question? Because
I don't know. You never know with Gary. I think no. He says no.
So I'll tell you what happened in my biggest scalp.
But I'm glad you got a story for it.
Yeah, I have got a story for it. I have got a story for it. The reason I got a story for it is because a lot of my mates still rip me off about it. It was actually live on TV, and because we were one of the weaker provinces, they always put you up against these touring sides that come out from overseas. And England came out, and their first game was against Easterns at the Pambrink Stadium, if you remember. Remember Pambrink and Springs? Under lights, and obviously for us guys, it was a big thing. We were playing against England, and they put out their best side. And
holy crap!
They were obviously just got off the plane, so they weren't really ready for us. But
good.
There were a lot of top players there. Okay. And
so you had like a
I was lucky enough. I got Graham Hickout and Brent Thorpe. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
So I thought those were my two biggest scalps ever.
Excellent.
But I think they were just got off the plane, so they weren't ready for us. We actually nearly beat them, and I can remember Ali Bacher coming into the changing room and actually saying to our coach, "Listen, you guys have actually put on a really good score here, and we don't want." I don't think they really wanted us to sort of beat them because it'd be the start of the tour, so it wouldn't be good for the tour. Look, at the end of the day. We had a bit of a shot to start off. We got them about 4 down, and I can remember Dominic Cork coming in and knocked off a 50, and we were done and dusted like we should have been.
Yes.
So that was my two best international scalps, and I always get ripped off by my mates about that anyway.
That's brilliant. And you had the chance to do it, which is fantastic. I'm just thinking, who else was in that team? That Eastern was Spook Hanley in that team?
No, he wasn't. No, so we had Bruce McBride, and we had a guy from the West Indies, Sam Skeet. Played for Barbados. It was very quick and. And I can't remember Chad Granger, guys that, as I said, guys that were sort of on the borderline of the bigger provinces, but couldn't really get in.
Get in there.
So
it was like a training ground. Pretty much,
so it was good fun.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic that you can play against England. I mean, do you have any other big matches? I mean.
No, well, obviously playing against the bigger provinces and meeting those guys and playing against the likes of Jacques Callis, Mark Rushmer, Dave Callahan, all these guys that I looked up to, and it was just so nice to play against them because they're human beings, they're normal people.
And your crappiest game?
Oh, there were many of those.
There must be one thing like, that was terrible.
No, there were many of those.
Because I always bring up time when we were all out for 11 against Queen's College. As our first team at Clarendon Park, and we were all out 11. They put us in again. We got another 11.
Well, there you go. No, we had many of those. I mean, I think through your school career and
did you get out for 11?
And even not that low, Gino. But 25, 30. I've been in teams that's happened to.
25 and 30. That's pretty horrific. And I mean, you have to have these losses to get to learn as well. You know, that's what I keep telling myself. God, Webster Kroonstad is famous not only for Sid, but Herbert Kretzmer. who wrote the lyrics for Les Miserables, was born and bred there. No ways, Garth Webster, look at you. Flippin' Chappie's
I don't
bubblegum
know what
rapper.
Garth is up to tonight. But
Hey,
he's
got that. I don't know. That's fantastic. It's like the guy in Bloemfontein, Tolkien from Bloemfontein wrote The Lord of the Rings as well. You know, we got a lot of strange artsy people all over the place. Sitting with Andy Smith. Of course, Andy saying hello there as well.
him and Grant are sitting together, so I knew they were going to obviously push hard for the Bedford, but I did a little bit of the Bedford, so I've done it.
Did a little
you
bit
know.
of the Bedford earlier on. We only got a little bit of it, Andy. We'll try and get the rest later. Gavin Loon, never forget the UPE,
Yeah.
sit in as a night watchman against us schoolboys to block out the day. He proceeded to hit 4 sixes in a row.
I tell you, I don't know how
That's
Gavin
not a
remembers
lie.
that. I just remember that now. But Gavin's now quite interesting. I saw him the other day. I went to Kingswood, and his two boys are at Kingswood
Yes,
and doing very well there. I
Okay.
played a lot of cricket with Gavin at UPE. And he's
good
in
all-rounder,
Investec.
Gavin.
He's in Investec, and he's running the Investec show in Neisner.
Neisner,
Yeah.
yes. I believe I see him up there all the time on the lagoon in his Facebook posts. I'm very jealous, Gavin Loon. We used to play a little bit of backyard rugby in the day, you know.
The Fires is giving you the
Barmaster,
mainstay.
Carl's online, yeah. You see Carl saying, I said, my bud looking good, time to start the army. There we
That's
go.
the
You see
Bedford,
the
yeah.
bloody Bedford. It's always, we've done a bit of the Bedford already, yeah.
Gee,
Wendy
what-
Thompson says, just do Blueberry Hill, please. Dum, ba-dum, dum, da-dum, ba-dum, dum,
You can do it. I think you can do it, Gino.
I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill.
That's enough.
There we go. This is pretty good. We got him to do some of it.
You're getting me into trouble. You're getting me into trouble. Yeah. I can see
Bob-
Dave Callahan coming in there. I can see
do it,
Mike Van
absolutely.
Vuren
There
coming
we
in
go.
there. Cole Baumer.
He hasn't taken off his shirt yet, so we still got to get Ori Mainstay. You can stay. What
You can stay as you are. That was the
for the rest of
slogan.
your life. That's it. That was the blueberry, the cane ad. I remember that with the yacht flying out. Callis, not enough, Sid. Hang in there, Gino. You listen up. I'm trying to hang in here, bro.
These guys are being unfair, Gino,
they
because
are.
I mean
The
they're pushing me
mosquito.
hard. Eh?
Callis's wedding. Now this was a story that I heard from a couple of people as well. You got the mosquito doing the speeches.
So I'll tell you what happened there.
Yeah.
And I was naughty. I was sitting at the back at the wedding, and
Yes.
Mike reminded me today, but I do remember it. Rod McCurdy was sitting at a table next to us, and I started doing the mosquito during the speeches.
Yeah.
And Rod got so excited and started laughing so much during the speeches that he fell backwards and broke the chair and fell onto the floor. So that's where that story comes
Callis, we apologize. We apologize
from. No,
profusely.
sorry, Callis. I mean, Callis knew that.
And how do you do this mosquito? How's it?
It's just a sound I make. And it was again, it came from the army. So if you remember lying in the bush
Do you just like
at
when
night and
a
you
night
can't see
watchman-
anything and you've got this
Night watchman.
mosquito.
That's what you were thinking when you're trying to hit 4 sixes in a row. When you're trying to be night watchman, said that's not the way to do. Even I know.
I can't remember that, but Gavin does. So yeah. The bottom line is what he's telling you is I lost the game for them.
Yeah, they did clearly. And what also the mosquito. But I was told that you can make it sound like it's coming from like somewhere else in the.
Yeah, but I got to dry my lips to do
Okay,
that.
okay,
But
gotta dry.
we'll do it just now.
Okay, we've been wetting them. I need to wet them some more as well. We've got some more punters here.
I'll have.
You guys-
This
you've
is
been
from
top
Casey Clark.
It's Casey Clark's
Casey
punters.
Clark. What a
He's-
wonderful man. I
he
mean,
is.
I've known Casey for a long, long time, and
Fantastic chap.
yeah,
Fantastic
and
chap.
he's been pushing us to buy his
To
gin.
buy the
I think
tea.
he's here this weekend.
He's here for the reunion. I think there's a Grey reunion. Is that right this weekend?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even know if he went to Grey. Did he?
He did. Yeah,
also
he's
to
a
Grey?
proper grey boy.
Keith Clark. This one's for you guys then at the Grey reunion.
Yeah.
We'll cheers.
Cheers
you
to
guys.
Clarky.
I'm
It's
gonna
a
try
very
some
nice
of
gin.
and the pink.
And then the pink gin
mixer
from Gary de Bruin.
Gary de Bruin.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I have a story about Gary de Bruin. I'm gonna
Yes,
tell you
tell
earlier.
me,
Yeah.
Gary de Bruin.
You know, it was quite interesting because when I was up in Johannesburg and playing for Easterns at the time,
Okay, yes.
I played for a club called Benoni Northerns.
Benoni.
Benoni Northerns.
A place
And,
where you've got curtains in your bucky, but not in your house. eh?
Correct. And you got to Anyway, I played for Benoni and met Gary there, and only, after leaving Benoni Northerns, I was a youngster 50 odd years ago. I came back, my wife and I came back to Port Elizabeth 10 years ago, and I don't know where it was, but I walked in, it was at Collegiate. Gay's wife was a teacher. And I'd sent my daughter to Collegiate, and I walked into this teacher's, I think it was a teacher's get together with the parents.
Yeah.
And there was Gary de Bruin. Yeah. So small world. And he's done so well with Fitch and Leeds.
Fantastic.
That's all we all support him in.
Love it.
And
Absolutely
such a
love
nice guy. He's
absolutely brilliant.
Absolute
guy.
gentleman. Yeah.
If he's so generous with his time and advice and stuff. And I've spoken to him a couple of times about stuff. He's always full of good advice. Bryce Dakin saying, "How's it?" Sid, tell the boys. Now Bryce can tell a story as well.
He can. Don't worry.
Can. Bryce, lovely to have you on as well. Tell the boys I used to buckle
snoozles with the Kings of team. I think what he's trying to tell you is that a very few times that Kings were able to beat St Andrews. I mean, St Andrews are a wonderful school, and they have over the years had wonderful rugby sides and cricket sides. And he's mentioning a few people in that snippet. Gavin Victor.
Yeah.
Played for Eastern Province. Merrick Pringle played for South Africa.
Yes.
Percy McLean. Warren Rippon played for Transvaal. One of my best mates. And we were all in that same team. And luckily, Bryce actually opened the bowling for St Andrews in our matric here at Lowerfield, I remember.
Yeah.
And he was having a lot to say to us. And at the halfway mark, we were sort of there and thereabouts, and obviously Kingswood and St Andrews have a big rivalry.
I'm sure.
As I said, two fantastic schools.
Yes.
And we just wanted to give it to St Andrews, and especially Brycey, because Brycey could chirp. And let me tell you, Bryce was a quick bowler at school, and he was a good cricketer. And unfortunately, I think what he's trying to tell you there is that we happened to get one over them and win that game. But when you look at those cricketers there, Gavin Victor, Merrick Pringle, good cricketers.
Absolutely amazing. What's buckle snoozle?
What is Callis.
Quickest league 100. How many balls? Hey, was that your 100? So you used to hit the sixes.
Okay, so let me tell you the story.
Does it start with they're going to put you in as night watchman?
Let me tell you what happened. Okay. So, and it's not, and I'm not being big deal about it. It was just one of those days. It was a bit of a fluke. And it worked out for me. But the funny story that day was, and Callis is talking about how many balls, because a lot of my mates rip me off and say, every time they hear from me, it's got less and less and less. So in other words, I got my 100 a bit quicker. But what happened that day, we were playing one of the weaker sides in the Premier League.
Yes.
And I think it was Kepler Wessel said, well, tell him to put the pads on and go in early. Okay. And there was a guy that was batting before me, Dean Emsley.
Yes.
It was actually quite interesting because we were playing at Westview. And if you come off the Westview cricket field,
yes,
there's the clubhouse, and you walk around the back.
Okay.
And you go into the change room and a lot of good batsmen,
yes,
when they get out, they go into the change room and they sit around, have a shower, and take their time, before they come out.
Yes.
What happened was I crossed past him and he said to me, look, the ball's moving around a little bit. Anyway, that was my day that day. Okay. And I managed to hit 12 sixes and 5 fours. I think, Callis says that now, but probably Neil Emsley will be able to tell you. I think it's still today the fastest 100 in the league.
Wow.
And look, I'm not, please, it's not,
yes.
It was just, a bit of luck.
It is the fastest it's ever been.
Callis asks how many balls, Callis? I think it was 32 minutes and 19 or 20 balls. I can't remember exactly.
It was like under 20
but the
balls.
funny part of the whole story was that I'd got out and I went back into the change room, and the guy that I'd passed, Dean Emsley, had a shower.
Yes.
And obviously he had been in the change room for the time that I was batting.
Yes.
So when I walked into the change room, he said, "Oh shit, are you out?"
Yeah.
So I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh shit, so we must be in more trouble."
What'd you get?
He said, "What do you get?" I said, 100. He said, "Well, he didn't even see it." So it was, that's the story. But,
unbelievable.
It was quite funny.
In 16 balls.
No, I don't think it was that much.
Just checking. Clint Henderson, not enough of the Bedford. Come on, Sid. My word. We'll have to have a few more dobs. Mike Bronkham is having a good laugh at us there as well. Said,
Yeah.
Gino, need to attend ITT staff function at the end of the year and meet the real Sid Meier. I think so. I think I'm gonna have to. No, Sid, you'll have to invite me to the.
I will
to
invite
the
you,
year
Gino.
end.
No problem.
To the year end. Bryce Dakin under the high ball for the first 15.
Oh, here we go again. I don't know where he gets all of this.
Tell me about this now.
Yeah, look, I wasn't the bravest on the rugby field. I was actually one of the worst, and we actually. So it's another story, but
Now, Bryce obviously knows a lot
He knows all these stories, but
Yeah.
we were playing against Queens, and in fact, what had happened was you mentioned Kenton.
Yes.
I was down in Kenton, and you first team rugby, and you think you're
Guys
bulletproof.
on the Salem
And I
Road
bumped
from
into then Pierre Dormel, who was captain of the Queens 1985 side or 84 side, whatever it was. They were one of their best sides ever.
Okay.
And I said to he was a mate of mine. I said to him, we'll see you on the field. We'll be able to rock you guys over. But I was just talking rubbish. I mean, obviously, had a few beers and thought I was
Yes, God.
fancy.
Howard
And we
Chicken
played
Leg.
the game. And I'll never forget Queens Kingswood in Grahamstown, and Pierre was the 8th man and captain, and Daryl Cullinan,
Yes.
he was then a brilliant, he was SS Schools rugby and cricket.
course.
He said to Daryl, put an up and under on Sid. And the first one I took, and they had 2 loose forwards that had played for border schools in those years,
yes.
and they mowed me down under the poles. And and Pierre sort of bumped me and said, listen, just remember that.
Yeah.
And the game carried on, and about 2 minutes later they did the same thing. And when he talks about the high balls, all I did was, as I
Take
said,
high balls.
I wasn't brave. So I just jumped, let it go, hit my shoulder, the ball went off in another direction.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened after that, but I wasn't the bravest, and Bryce is picking up on all of that.
Oh, you're bad. Keep them coming, Bryce. Keep them coming.
Claudia, mate.
Callis is having a good laugh as well. Claudia. So tell the story about skiing on the Cowie River. Cowie River. Tell me about the story about skiing. in the
So that is
Cowie River.
Claudia Nee Rippon,
Oh, right. Okay.
good family friends of mine since
Is
I grew
that
up in
Vanessa
Kingswood.
Rippon? Is that those Rippons? Alice?
No. So you saw earlier when they were talking about Kingswood there, Warren Rippon, Greg Rippon,
Okay.
Claudia Rippon. Yeah, so family friends of ours that I grew up with in Grahamstown. So we come a long way. Warren has got a big farm outside Grahamstown.
Okay.
He's in the game industry and also in the steel industry and in Johannesburg.
Steel.
Yeah,
Wow, okay.
got a very big steel business in.
Sure.
And that's Claudia is.
So they're
is
skiing up
Warren.
the Cowie River?
I'm not so sure what she's on about there because again wasn't the greatest skier. But, we
okay.
used to go skiing on the river, and I think more doubles than a single for me.
Right.
So maybe she's
Did he
alluding to
fall out
that.
the boat, Claudia? Try and jog his memory.
Claudia might be able to remind me what it was
Yes,
what
I'm
it
sure.
was about. It might have been what happened on the banks of the river. I don't know. Might have
Yeah.
landed up on the bank.
Did you have some parties out there? 'Cause
We
that's
did.
lovely, eh?
No, we did. It was a
Take
lovely
trip
place.
up the river. You've been a fisherman or not?
Not really. Not really. But we grew up in Port Alfred, so I used to go there every year. And in the last couple of years, I've started going to Kenton with my family. And but generally, we were always Port Alfred people.
You've got a place in Kenton.
I don't, no, but I rent there every year, and I love it, and all my mates are there. And Gino, having worked and lived in Joburg for 20 years, I've still got a lot of Joburg mates, a lot of Eastern Cape mates, and so it's
Where do
fantastic.
you consider home? What is
I
home
still
for you?
think, obviously, Eastern Cape is my home, and coming back here was,
Grahamstown, PE.
well, Grahamstown as a schoolboy, yes, PE as a student, and coming back here now, I mean, I do regard the Eastern Cape as my home.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of mates here. I always think of, my wife and I of late have been talking about where do we think we might retire one day. And my good mate Graham Rushmore always says to me, Sydney, you can't go anywhere. You lower Albany, so you just have to stay here. So
Once you've been to Kingswood, I suppose.
yeah, and
it's
so
true.
we go back. This place has been good to me, and I've enjoyed it.
What do you consider as a home? I don't know the answer myself, because I've always been in PE. But what defines a home?
A home or province or a place to live in. I think your friends to a large degree. I think it's very interesting. I had a friend of mine to try and answer that question. I had a friend of mine out here, my cousin actually, and a friend of mine out here recently, and he said to me, they're living abroad, and said, the essence of what happens over there is that you go out with people, you can talk about what happened during the day, but you don't have history.
Yeah.
And I think, home, you have history.
Yeah.
You have history with people. You
There's
have
history with Bryce, you see.
Yeah, you have history with all these people that are coming in here. And I think that's home, really,
Yeah.
And that makes you feel comfortable. It makes you feel friends.
Yeah. And I mean, in business too, your connections are so important.
100%,
And
yeah.
people that you've met, people that you,
Yeah.
I think.
But that on its own, I always said, a lot of people said to me, you did some things in your life that were successful. Was it you, or was it? I think a lot of it was, I go back to even the little bit of sport that I played and the ability to be able to meet people and that to me was probably one of the biggest attributes and helped me in what I did. I did a development in Johannesburg. We did the first Jack Nicklaus Golf Estate development there, and in that time it was I remember the IT boom. And I'd just come off, doing my thing, playing cricket and meeting a lot of people in Joburg, and I think the successes that we had there was just contacts, and contacts in life are massive.
From your cricket side, it's stuff as well. I mean, if you're involved in some sort of sport or some sort of project or anything, that those connections, if they're spread far and wide, it helps so much.
It does. No, it does. And that's what I've always said to people. For me, it was my network and people that I knew. Yeah. And obviously, that network sort of, as you get older, the network is there, but you don't become as relevant as you were. And, so the younger guys start coming into business and doing their thing. But I think for me, Joburg was a good move for me to leave Port Elizabeth. Go there and do my thing, and obviously meeting a lot of people, and playing sport is massive. It does any sport, I think. It allows you to meet so many people.
And also, I think working so much with those people, it's all about a trust, isn't it? In the end, it's how much you trust people and how much if you know somebody's a good guy, or a good lady. That if you can trust them, then you'll go into business with them. So there's always 100%. Those opportunities. Your early work experiences and from varsity, did you go straight out into working, or did you?
I was actually. I as I said to you earlier, I'm very good friends with the Rushmere family, and the late Colin Rushmere basically said to me at the end of my not so good 4 years at varsity, he said, I think you should come and work for me in the property game. He had a lot of blocks of flats here in Port Elizabeth, and I started doing that, and I was only here for about a year. And I don't know if you'll remember a guy by the name of Dave Usendorf.
I do know the
PE guy in the golfing industry.
Okay.
And he had a wedding at the old Elizabeth Hotel. Yeah. And I was at the wedding and sitting at a table, and these 4 Joburg guys arrived. Yeah. And one of them said to me, "What do you do?" Yeah. And I said, "Look, I'm in property in Port Elizabeth." And I said, "Well, why don't you come work for us in Joburg?" And within 2 weeks, I packed up, and as I said, I was working for Colin then, and
they must have known you, or
no, not at all. I might have left a fairly good impression with them that evening. And they said, if you're in property, why don't you come over bash in Joburg? And that was my start of going to Joburg.
Did you do the Bedford for them?
I probably did that night. I used to do it quite often, unfortunately.
It was obviously a good thing. I'm sorry that I haven't done it in my act. So you headed up to Joburg, and what were these developments? You said it was
when I got there, I worked for them initially, and then
these are big developments, though. I've seen. I think Gary's got a couple of pictures of.
Yeah. So what happened was I had started. I worked for a company called Broll Property Group.
Broll, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
And one of the guys that I met a guy by the name of Colin Bell. He was the original founder of a company in Botswana called. I've just lost it now. It'll come to me now. And I met Colin, and at a golf day one day, and he said to me, "Listen, I believe you've been involved in Peakenwood, which was the Jack Nicklaus development I did before this." And he said, "We'd like you to come over there and have a look at this place." And I said, "What's it all about?" That's it
island.
there. Yeah. It's 6 kilometers long and 2.5 kilometers wide. They wanted to develop
whereabouts?
Seychelles. So you land on the main island of Meyer, and it's about 264 kilometers into the middle of the sea. That's now Peakenwood. So I'd done that first.
All right.
And at the end of that, I was approached to look at this development on the island
Yo,
of the
look at
Seychelles.
that.
And
Holy crapperoo.
yeah, that was the start of. I spent 7 years there. I was fortunate enough to be the sales and marketing director of that development.
That looks phenomenal.
It was the first Jack Nicklaus development in South Africa, and from there,
Is that the Joburg was? Is this
is Peak and Wood Golf Estate
in
in
Seychelles?
Hartbeespoort Dam.
This is Hartbeespoort
Correct.
Dam.
Yeah, Hartbeespoort Dam. You can see the dam in the background.
That's beautiful.
We developed 888 stands there, and we built the place out.
Crap, 888
Yeah,
stands.
yeah. And after that, I got involved in the other picture. Which
The
is,
Seychelles.
the Russia.
Okay. I see. So they
Sorry,
were-
I mentioned earlier, Colin Bell was the original founder of Wilderness Safaris. And
the safaris, okay.
he met me at a golf day and said, look, we'd like you to come and have a look at this.
Wow.
And what I did was I flew over there, had a look at it, and I must be honest, it was high-end stuff. We built 32 villas on the island, ranging between about $1.4 to $2 million.
Dollars, okay.
But at the time, the world was flying, and he had a partner in his other business, a guy by the name of Paul Harris, who was then chairman of Rand Merchant Bank, and these guys were high-end fellas.
Yes.
And they said to me, look, we did a video on the place, and he said, have a go and see what you can sell. And it was amazing because in the first 6 months we sold 12 of them, and then we had to still build them in the middle on an island in the middle of the
And where
sea.
did you market it to? I mean,
So we marketed it internally initially. No, we marketed internally initially to our Joburg contacts.
Wow.
I had a lot of contacts from the
They could
from
afford,
the,
like,
from the development, from the estate, from doing the
million.
golf estate development, and we put this video together, and Paul and Colin said to me, look, these are the guys you should go see, and we started like that. And once you sold to one guy, the next guy tells the next guy, and it was amazing. Within 6 months, I'd sold 10 or 11 of them. As I said, we had 32, so by the time we got to about 18, 20, we pushed the button, and it was amazing because we were involved with the Seychelles government. They bring Indian builders out from India.
okay.
They come onto the island, they build their shelters, and they make everything on the island. It was
So
amazing.
you sold before you even had
We
the
sold,
houses.
pre-sold, and then while we started, when the building process started,
You do
we
one
still
building.
had, we didn't do anything. We just took people out, I flew guys out, sort
we're
of
gonna do this, we're gonna do this
businessmen,
and this.
showed them the island. But on a beautiful island like that, as you see there now, I mean, when you land there, these guys just go, wow, this is unbelievable. Middle of the sea, absolutely beautiful. I should drive guys out and say, this is going to be the first stand, there's the next 10, 12, 15 stands. This is what we're building.
Incredible.
And the guys
that.
just say to me, thank you very much.
Can't do
Brilliant.
that.
Yeah.
And then you just
It's
snorkeling
now,
every day?
it's still there. It's been taken over by Four Seasons, the Four Seasons Hotel Group.
Okay. Well, okay.
But
And of
I haven't
course,
been back for a long
miles
time.
from anyone, and miles
Yeah.
from the public, miles from the tax man.
Yeah.
Everything's.
Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
No, I'm sure. Dave Callahan, how do you slice a tomato?
Do you know where that
Don't
comes
tell
from?
me.
So
No,
let me
tell
tell
me.
you know
Tell
what
me, like-
these guys.
I like
I mean,
these guys. Thank you,
what I don't
Dennis.
understand, Gino, is these guys have got all the stories about and idiosyncrasies about what I do and what I don't do. So the story about that was I told you earlier. Callas and I were housemates here in PE,
Okay, all right, okay.
and it was myself and a guy by the name of Grant Finlay,
All right.
and we lived in a house in Newton Park. And
Obviously a
I
mess
just
all day.
So the slicing tomato thing was I had a thing about how we looked after everything in the fridge.
Okay.
And the two of them used to just get into the fridge and cut a piece of cheese and leave the cheese open in the
that
fridge
was
so it
driving
went
mad as
dry.
well. No,
and the
of course
tomato, they would cut the tomato in half and just leave it lying in the fridge. And I used to come in and say, guys, listen, do you know how to cut a tomato? You cut a tomato from here to here, and you cut a slice, and then you cover the tomato and put it in something and put it in the fridge.
Yes.
So that's the whole
Keep
story.
the air out, Callas. Keep the air
Yeah,
out. For
he
goodness
knows,
sake.
he knows.
I bet you Sharon's like, God, Callas, can't you just get it right? Oh, wish Sharon was online now. She'd give you a talking.
Felicity
Felicity
Meyer.
Meyer
That's
saying,
my wife.
She
So
wants the
I'm
mosquito.
surprised she'd be asking me to do
she's-
that.
Well, it's probably somebody there with her taking her
Yeah,
phone.
no,
No, tell
exactly.
me, just give us a bit of the mosquito.
I can't do
I'll
it
sing a
anymore,
song
Gino.
while you do
I
it.
can't do it.
Bedford, Bedford.
I can't believe it's all about the Bedford and the mosquito.
So it's what you can do what you like. Talk about the Seychelles. and your multi-million-dollar feats of property moguldom.
No, not
But
at all. Not at all.
But
No, not at all.
they want to hear the Bedford and do the mosquito.
Exactly.
Now that you mentioned golf, tell us who's the longest hitter of the golf ball in
Here
your
we go.
age group.
It's Garthy. It's
Oh,
Garthy.
is it Garth?
Yeah, so
Funny that.
I was fortunate. I mean, I always tell everyone will tell you this, but I was fortunate enough to be able to hit a golf ball a certain distance, and but it also can go both ways, left and right.
Is
Yeah.
it the opposite way
It can.
from the amount of balls that took you
So
to
that's
100?
that's what he's on about. He's saying who's the longest hitter.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell him what he wants me to tell because I've been talking about fastest hundreds and longest hitting,
Yeah,
and
always
that's not
getting
what I'm all about.
That was
yeah.
always getting
Yeah.
less and
Yeah,
less
so,
and less. Now this one's getting
I think
longer and longer, like a
He's
like a
going to want to.
250
He's going to want to
meter.
ask you something. Where's Pani Patsolos?
Bunny is there as well. I see him. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
right
Bunny-
at the top there, Gary.
Pani's in the
At
property
top-
industry.
at the
Yeah.
top of that. There we go.
Yeah.
Bunny says, Grant said, keep growing ITT. Soon we'll need more space. Has he got a warehouse or something like that?
Well, he's obviously our warehouse. We're now in the showgrounds.
Okay.
Pani sort
The
of
showgrounds.
assisted us in getting that.
That's
so,
where we used to throw the peanuts at the
there we
guys.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah. We got a nice big warehouse there, about 8,000-9,000 square meters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that
Have you
the
been
big-
to the showgrounds?
I haven't been there for a long time. And last time I went there was probably... Oh, isn't there an auto panel beater guys?
No. So they built a
Techno Dent or something like
they
that.
built a new sort of warehouse
Okay.
village there, and park, should I say? And
In-
yeah,
in
we in one of
North
the.
End?
Yeah,
it
that's
North
right. Yeah,
End?
you know where Jumbo is? Jumbo Cash and Carry.
Yes, yeah,
Just
yeah,
up
yeah.
Martin Street. Yeah, we're there.
okay.
Yeah.
In there. Oh, yes, he's behind. I remember that now.
Must come
Superb
visit us.
stuff. Sydney, my boy, lovely show. He said he wasn't going to be watching tonight, but
I know.
clearly he can't keep away.
Now, he told me he was going to be having a drink with Gavin Cowley tonight, so he wouldn't be able to
No,
watch
no.
it. But he said, please make sure the Bedford happens. Please make sure the mosquito happens.
Yes.
I've given you a bit of the Bedford, and the mosquito I
He
haven't
says
done.
because the Bedford
The
was
Blueberry
so
Hill, I did a
bloody
little
cool.
bit with you.
He did a Blueberry Hill.
Yeah.
He didn't take his shirt
Haven't
off.
taken my shirt off,
Because
so-
apparently that's the thing as well. For you to
I'm being
take your
buried
shirt
here tonight, I mean.
It's fun. So this is what it's about, though.
Oh, absolutely.
It's your friends that you've had for so many years, and everybody wants that. In the end, it's like you want to go. The South Ender is a perfect example.
Yeah.
I walked into that place at the South Ender, and everybody knows everybody. I love it. It's like that program Cheers on
Well, my
TV.
partner Grant, I mean, I think he's sort of, he's got a special table in the corner over there.
Yeah.
And it's almost when he's there, and when he's not there, they leave the table open, so in case he arrives. And if he arrives late, then they stand up and move away. So,
See, I
yeah.
see.
So, yeah, a wonderful
Grant's
place.
in
We
there
pop
as
in
well.
there every now and again. Yeah, no, he goes there.
And I
quite
see
often.
Nefty is in there as well. Friendship is there.
We see
too.
Friendship, yeah, he pops in and he's allowed to come sit in a certain place.
Okay.
Around that table, you've got certain seats where you're allowed to sit
You're
on.
allowed to sit
and
in
if,
those.
if I'm sitting where you are, you've got to get up and move
Oh,
away
check
because
it.
that's Gino's seat.
Yes,
yeah.
that's it. Sorry, guys, this is not your seat, but you're going to find your own seat eventually after 15 years of being here or something. And I see they say the Germans sit down there, and then there's
Correct.
a place for the Germans.
The Germans come in. I see the gentleman there sometimes, and Friendship goes and sits with him.
Does he go?
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Fraternise with the Germans. eh?
Absolutely.
It's okay. They've forgiven them for all their wartime stuff. It's crazy how that whole thing works. It's like we obviously used to have the German club, the Italian club, and the thing, and the German club is still going quite strong, I think.
Yes,
but
it is, yeah.
The Italian club is falling apart, but they always come to me, Gino, why don't you come back to the club? But in the end, it's all about the friendship stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
And those guys.
That's what it's about.
But I think what we're going to do, Michael Rushme is there online saying, Sydney Rushy, and I want you to down a Sharpie, boss. What's a Sharpie?
Sharpie is one of those, yeah.
Is it a down
So
Sharpie?
that's Mark. Is it who was that?
That Michael
Michael.
Rushme.
Yeah, that's Mark's eldest son. Yeah.
Mark's eldest son.
Yeah, yeah.
Michael, were you playing there at the Ashford Oval then? Because there was a match between the Grahamstown guys and
Oh, that was over Christmas.
the guys. Yes, I was there.
So that was Bryce Dakin's son. He
Yes.
captained the one side.
Yes, that's
and I
right.
played against the St. Francis guys.
Grahamstown against
St. Francis and
St. Andrews or something.
but there were a lot of St. Andrews boys playing at it.
St. Francis
Yeah,
and St. Andrews.
that's right. He did
yeah.
play in that. Yeah.
Yes,
One of the
so he
Rushmere
did
boys
play
made a
there.
lot of runs.
That was fantastic, Michael. Well done. That was a great game. I enjoyed that.
Seen
But I tell you
Narissa.
what, Michael, and I tell you, Michael, those guys know Narissa's out there. I haven't seen the bed for the mosquito, but I've seen opera. Oh, really? What's so clear man of many talents. You know, this guy, we'll have to, but you'll have to go to an ITT end of the year function to see those things.
That's it. You got to come
Goeie
to that.
Sharpie, there's this Goeie Sharpie. What's with the Sharpie? What is that?
Sharpie is your drink.
Is it the drink?
Yeah, it's
Why
a
is it
drink.
called a
Yeah.
Sharpie?
That's what it is. It's a Sharpie.
It's a Sharpie.
It's like
Is it- where
having
do
a
they
dop.
find-
A dop. A Sharpie.
A dop. But a dop is like a doppy. I don't know, it comes from the word. You know, it's like saying China. I found out that China is, when you say it, my China, then it's like China plate.
Yeah, so I don't know, Eastern
it's
Cape. It's
mate,
Eastern.
it's a
I think
mate.
it's an Eastern Cape.
A Sharpie?
Yeah, a Sharpie.
Is that
You
like
can
an
have a Sharpie
Albany
with me.
English vibe?
It's a Lower Albany, maybe.
I love that. Bryce, come on, confirm that, please. Or Bella, if they're still online there. Or Michael, tell us, is that like an Albany thing, this Sharpie?
Casey Clark will be able to tell you that.
Oh, you probably would. You probably
Yeah.
would. Okay, so I think Gary's busy printing things because we're going to get into something called getting to know you as well,
Okay.
which we'll
That could be-
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
All right, we got it. I'll give you the extras. This always gets interesting because
So do I have to answer all of these?
you have to answer. There's some of them a bit crazy questions. You
Can I
know?
pass?
Yeah, no. You can pass if you need to, if you have to. But okay, what's something particularly spontaneous or irresponsible that you've ever done?
Irresponsible.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I can take you back to something. But it takes a while.
No, bring it on.
When you talk about irresponsible, this was irresponsible. So I was telling you about our development we did at Pekinwood Golf Estate.
Yes. Okay.
So we got invited to Malaysia by our Malaysian partners to go to the World Cup of Golf. And it was the first time that Tiger Woods had ever gone to Asia.
Yo.
So we got a group of people together. I was one of the directors. I was director of sales then.
Yeah.
And our two two partners, not partners, my two bosses,
Yeah.
they flew with us. And we took a whole lot of investors that had invested at Pekinwood over to the World Cup, and we were there for a whole week. So this is properly irresponsible. And we got to the week, and we spent 2 or 3 days doing our thing and watching the golf. And I was obviously, because I was in charge of sales and marketing, I was looking after all our guests.
Of course, you had to stay
And
up with them.
I had to stay up with the guests.
Make
And
sure they got
the
enough
next,
drinks.
I remember, obviously on the Wednesday, that Wednesday of the week that we were there, we were going to have a board meeting, and with our Malaysian partners. And you must understand the Malaysian partners, all these Chinese guys and Malaysian guys, waiting at the top of this building and where the boardroom was. And I took my guests out on that Tuesday night, and obviously it got a little bit out of hand.
Yes.
Came back to the hotel, and I put my alarm on and thought, I've got to be at the meeting by 8 o'clock. And the hotel was here, and it was the Mines Resort City, so very much like Sun City.
Okay.
These guys had developed it, and on the 10th floor was a building across the way from this. It was an old mine filled up with water.
wow, okay.
So I had to get from the hotel across the water to the building
Oh, jeez.
and go up to the 10th floor for the board meeting.
Yes.
And board meeting started at 8:30, and I can remember waking up at 8:15.
Oh. Okay.
Now I'm thinking, well, what am I going to do here? So I
Shit.
quickly got dressed. I was unshaven, and got into the ferry, ferried myself across the lake, got to the other
big
side,
hole.
into the lift, up to the main floor, walked in there, and the secretary was waiting. She said, "Are you joining the meeting?" And I said, "Yes." And I had my my pack of stuff that I do, my presentation that I was going to do.
Shit, at 8 o'clock.
And the worst part was I walked in, and as they opened the door to let me in, there were these 6 or 7 our Malaysian partners sitting with jacket and tie on.
Oh, that way.
My boss and my MD sitting with our chairman and our MD
Yes,
sitting with a jacket
jacket
and tie on.
tie, and
And
you're
I had a
like-
pair of chinos and a golf shirt on because they had told me prior to that it was going to be very casual.
Casual.
And as I walked in there, I looked at this and thought, oh my heavens,
my
what are we going to
soul.
do?
So you're like,
So
yeah.
talk about irresponsible. And as I sat down, my MD looked at me and he said, well, seeing that you've arrived late, can you do your presentation?
Okay.
Cheapest, tell you what. So irresponsible, that's one of them.
Did you manage to get the...
I managed to get through it, and
Through
the
it.
worst part was what was I going to say to him when we finished, and we
Yeah,
had a
yeah.
tea break.
Yeah.
Went outside, so I called him aside. He was quite a volatile sort of
Okay.
MD of the company. He was a short little guy that used to
yeah.
get quite cross easily.
Yeah.
I said, Alec, look, I'm very sorry about what happened. He said, no, listen, it seems like your presentation went well, so don't worry about it.
Okay,
But
lucky. lucky.
it was a bit
If
irresponsible.
it hadn't have gone well, you
Yeah.
might have been more
Quite correct.
And the guys that were with you, I mean, did they not?
Well, they were at the hotel enjoying themselves,
Oh,
and
they
no one
didn't
knew any
care.
better. But it was just me
my
having to make the meeting on
soul.
time and dressed inappropriately and incorrectly.
Oh,
So
my
it
word.
wasn't only irresponsible; it was embarrassing.
As
But
well.
these things happen, I guess.
You know, it does. It does. What's the biggest risk you've ever taken?
Well, I think doing what I did with by taking the opportunity to get involved in Darash Island. I mean,
Yeah.
to tell you, and the reason I say that was we started in 2000 and I think it was 2006, yeah. And then we had the crash, the worldwide crash.
Yeah.
And we had fortunately built enough of the villas
Yes.
to, because what happened was, the way we did it was, if we built for you, you had to put your money up front.
Okay.
And that was that, so no one could pull out.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, if we had done it a
Little bit
year later, I might not have been sitting here. So yeah,
Yo.
it was a massive risk, but
Yeah.
I didn't really know that. But it was
Yeah.
a risk. It was a massive risk. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, but how did you? I mean, you went into marketing this sort of thing. It's quite a specialized thing. I mean, how did you get the experience to actually get it? When you just dive in the deep end?
I think we just dived in the deep end. And Colin, my partner then, was the kind of guy that he just, he always said to me, listen, we're just going to do this. It's going to happen,
Okay.
But I mean, as I said earlier, I was very fortunate because it was a 1 in a million project,
Yeah.
32 villas, the middle of the sea, picture the scene on the most beautiful island in the world. Anyone can sell it, So we were lucky. We were very fortunate.
Man.
But it was risky when I look back on it. I mean, I mentioned Graham Rushmere
Yeah.
earlier, and Graham said to me when I came back, I asked him to help me with a few things, and he said to me, "Jeepers, you took a massive risk in doing this thing." I said, "Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Well, both of us did, Colin and myself.
Yeah.
But it all worked out for the best. But it could have gone wrong
I
easily.
mean, leaving your jobs, leaving your thing, and
Yeah.
not only. I mean, I'm sure for the guys putting the money in, it was the
Absolutely,
big money was
absolutely,
huge risk, eh?
absolutely.
They must have known something. They
Yeah.
must have. They must have. Oh man, have you ever had an experience which you would describe as an adventure? I'm sure you have.
Phew. You got me there.
Adventure. I mean, I can give you some ideas. So,
Okay.
I mean, surely in the cricket side, on the cricket side, there must have been some hectic games or hectic adventures after the games.
Oh,
You know,
many of
dressing room
those.
stories. I like to hear that
You
stuff
like
as well.
dressing rooms? That's not an adventure. A dressing room
I
story
suppose
is.
not really, but I mean, it's, it's just going out with the teams and living with those oaks. They're crazy guys.
Oh, they are. I mean, I think we all are. We had some fantastic times. I mean, I wouldn't say they're adventures. I'd say they're more stories and what you did between games and what you did during games and that
And
kind
overseas, I mean, overseas trips like that are like
I never went. I actually never went
Kon-Tiki vibes or
overseas.
something.
I never went overseas on a cricket tour or anything like that.
Yeah,
but you've got me there, Gino.
Yeah,
Adventure.
okay.
I'll probably
You
have to
can
think.
about it. Think about it.
Somebody's put
What's
something
the-
up. I've been.
an e-bike at Crossways. There we go.
Oh, there we go, Bryce.
Bryce, you know
Oh,
you
he
better
loves
than
it.
you know
He loves
yourself.
it. I don't know what story he wants me to tell you, but my wife and I decided we were going to buy the e-bikes
E-bikes,
because
so you got it.
it's quite difficult to sort of ride with these
Well,
cars.
that's
that are,
what they say. Of course,
you know.
the guys
Have
without
you got an
e-bikes.
e-bike?
I haven't.
They're unbelievable.
I believe so.
I mean, you
They're
can
amazing.
do nothing for 2 months and then get on an e-bike and ride for
It's
60
sweet.
kilometers.
Yeah.
But I think what Bryce is actually saying over there was, the other day, Mark Rushman's been saying to me for a long, long time, I keep on saying to Mark, get yourself an e-bike. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You don't have to stress. If it's getting tough, you just put your e-bike on and off you go. And he's been saying to me for a long time, I can't wait, Sid, until the day that your battery runs out. And the other day we went on a long ride. I was actually with a friend of mine, Pete Allenson, and Grant Finlay.
Yes.
And we had the girls behind us. And I was waiting for the girls a bit, and we lost them.
Oh, shit,
And it's
okay.
I don't know if you've been to Crossways.
Crossways, lovely.
So you've got the red route and the yellow route and all the rest.
So
And
they get
we
lost.
missed the red arrow,
Oh,
and we
Lordy.
carried on going. So the E can take you anywhere. So it
Yes.
took me over the hill, down the hill, and I eventually worked out that we went off course about 10 k's that way. So add back another 10, that's 20.
Oh, good.
Plus we still had about 25 to go. So the whole ride was probably around about 55, 60 k's. And when I got to the steepest part of the hill, just about a kilometre two from the top,
Yes.
the battery went. So, and that was it. I mean, those things are heavy.
No, yeah, I'm sure.
And I actually got off the bike and pushed it, and it's even harder to push the thing. But luckily, as you know, when you go down
the other charges
back to the, no, it doesn't charge.
Does it not
No,
charge?
it doesn't charge.
I
But
thought
I had
it
that
charged.
long downhill, so that helped a
Oh,
bit.
okay, that helped.
You got a bit of momentum. And
I thought so. You have to actually charge it in the plug.
no, you have to charge it.
Oh, okay.
Once it's done, it's done.
Then that's it.
That's the only time it's
no
ever happened.
braking, no
No,
cruise.
it doesn't do anything like that. But it's, they're fantastic.
You're
I'll
still
say just
using
some-
Veet.
Oh,
he's
my
pretty
heavens.
well searched. Pretty well said.
Okay, so this is getting ugly. That's Ken Light. He's our partner, our new partner in Intertown. He knows something. I'm not going to go there.
Okay.
Are you still using Veet?
Your Veet.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can see on the back of my hair.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it's all about the back of his head. It's nothing to do with anything in the nether regions or anything.
That's a low blow, Ken.
Low blow.
Any else at Lords and his pants? Oh, here we go. I
Ernie
mean,
else
Bryce
at
has got it all.
Lords. Tell us about this story.
My very good mate Warren Ripper and myself went to Lords a couple of years ago, and it was something Gino that I always wanted to do. Go to Lords and watch South Africa play at Lords.
Yeah.
And we were fortunate because a good mate of mine, Jack Brotherton, and together with Warren, had organised for us to stay. We stayed with Sir Ian Botham in the same hotel.
Sir Ian Botham.
So Sir Ian
What, a
Botham.
woman in and out there all the time.
So Sir Ian Botham had put us up, and he was planning to put us, planned and did, put us up in his box for one day. And then the first day, we were so excited, we got and sat down and watching the first bit of play. And by lunchtime, Warren said to me, let's go into the tent, which is at the back. And you won't believe how many South Africans are there. It's unbelievable. And the tent, it's a Verve tent. So Verve Click, the champagne. Verve Click,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And you order these big bottles of champagne, and there's just everybody's all over the place. And
Well, I don't know what that means.
you're drinking champagne, and
Yes,
and
and
that's a really great
Ian
atmosphere.
Botham, and it's
I
just-
knew Ricky Roberts, who's Ernie Elsa's caddy, very well. And I'd also, fortunately, with Pekinwood, I'd gone a round of 18 holes with Ernie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Gee whiz,
And
the Big Easy.
the Big Easy,
Lovely.
yeah. What a fantastic guy. Anyway, that day we he had a box at Lords, and he said, listen, come up to the box and let's have a
Man.
chat. So went on the box, spent the day with him. He's talking about Ernie's pants.
How lonely
I
are
don't know
you?
if you've ever seen if Ernie's pants. He's got those big curtains. We always talk about
Yes.
curtains. So
Yeah.
they're not nicely sort of.
No, it's nice. You guys get straight.
And they're just wide at the bottom. And
Not near.
I remember Warren, my mate, we'd always commented about him on TV and said, shit, man, look at this, look at the pants that he's wearing. I wish he would just like tailor them and make them look nice. And anyway, we in his box, and we've all had a few drinks, and he says, look, guys, I want to go out now I'll take you out to a little pub in London, just outside Lords, and we'll have a few drinks. And I saw my mate Warren looking down at his pants, and he said, hey, Ernie, listen, I've been wanting to ask you this for a long time. He said, but those curtains are yours. He said, can't you just narrow them a bit? He said, oh, you know what he would have said. Anyway, he said it. But yeah, so I used to go to the $1 Million for 15, 20 years, Warren and myself. And Ricky's caddy, we got to know him quite well.
Wow.
And obviously, it was nice to spend some time with Ernie. I'm not sure you'll remember us, but we had some fun with him.
I'm sure you'd be surprised because I mean, especially living a life like that, where you fleetingly meet so many people.
So it's amazing that
times
Bryce
is-
is able to tee me up on a whole lot of
Yeah,
stories.
he's got you there. He's got your back. Leanne Keeves, tell the story about you tripping over the imaginary speed bump.
Oh, no. I don't think my wife's going to enjoy that if I tell you that. I'd been at the Kiwis and had a nice evening, and we went over an imaginary speed bump, and it went wobble to the left a little bit, but we'll leave it at that.
I think I've been in that speed up myself a few times. There we go. Brett Elliott said the show just gets better and better each time. Well done showcasing some brilliant EC talent. That's what it's about. Brett Elliott. Brett's, of course, Brett and Lindy were at the boardwalk for many years as well. He was the
I've heard of Brett,
gaming guy, and then he's gone out. Brett, where are you now? What do you accompany with now? It was also a company up in Joburg the last time I saw him as well. I'd love to know what he's doing. Okay, so what would be something that people would be surprised to learn about you?
I'm quite a. I think the reason that probably would be because everyone perceives me as being this relaxed, outgoing, extroverted
Bedford guy.
guy. Meanwhile, I can often be a bit of a panicker. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But stress.
Yeah, but it's
stress
stress
bunny.
ball every now and again.
Is
I
it,
try and hide it, but
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of people, and I mean, so I was talking seriously about it, but during COVID, a lot of people have had this anxiety story, this
Yeah.
stress story,
Yeah.
and goes into depression and this whole thing, you know. So I mean, so you say you've
No, I-
experienced a bit of anxiety.
yeah, I
over
do
the years.
sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
But it's funny because, as I said, people think, you know, a funny guy or someone that's always
Yeah.
out there. But yeah, it happens now. you
Yeah,
know.
it does, and
So I do stress a little bit sometimes, and
yeah, anxiety can be hectic. It can manifest like in a physical way as
Yeah.
well. I mean, you know, and so many people are out there. I mean, I've got a lot of people on my Facebook feed and on my and social media, and you see people posting about it and talking about it. But I mean, you can multiply that by 20 as to actually who is, because people don't like to admit that. You know? It's true.
yeah.
Michael Rushman tells us, tell her why never wear shorts, only longs.
They love that one as well.
is
I
it
mean,
nice?
as you can see, I've got tailored, nice, tight pants.
I
so
see that. It just
I don't know why they
keep
worry
all-
about it too much. Because,
it keeps it all,
keeps it all
tied up there, Michael. I think.
not the best set of legs in
Yeah,
PE,
okay,
but
right.
I'm happy to wear shorts. I mean, they all know that I wear shorts now, but they,
I
you know,
thought
most of my
maybe-
mates say, because I go into the golf course in Longs, they say, "Oh, you're not wearing shorts today."
Shorts.
So I'm happy to wear shorts, boys.
Is it big? I mean, they're probably referring to.
I've
your
got
third
massive
leg.
calves. I've got massive
Okay,
calves.
massive calves. There we go. So not your third leg that plays a part there. Brady, I'm a professional dishwasher. Is that what you're doing? Is Lindsay keeping you at home to do the dishes? I like that. When did you feel your biggest adrenaline rush? We've done something like hectic.
Yeah, I think selling.
Yeah.
You know, being able to
That's the-
honestly
that-
to be
that
able
thing.
to
presentation.
pull off the presentation, and then when the guy said, "Okay, I'm going to buy," and especially, and again, I refer back to, and I don't have that anymore to a certain degree, but to be able to, and I don't want to sound blasé about it, but be able to sign a deal up and a big investment like we did in the socials was a huge adrenaline rush, you know,
I'm sure.
and very satisfying. Yeah.
It's. I mean, I suppose business is about that too. When you're getting a big client or getting a thing, it's a rush.
Yeah,
It is. Eh?
yeah,
It
absolutely.
is. And physically, like I was in Stu Davidson's flipping L39 jet, and that
Probably-
was like ridiculous.
Yeah, probably driving with my partner in his M4. I mean,
Oh, really?
Coming back. I mean, we came back from East London one day, and Grant's got a fast car, likes
On that
fast cars.
road?
Yeah.
Yes.
And doing over just for a little spurt. I mean, we weren't doing anything silly, but you get an adrenaline. rush.
Yeah,
It's
for
quite-
sure.
with
You know,
fast cars, yeah.
It is hectic. It is hectic. Brandon Bentley says, Gino, do you have Afrikaans questions? Jy het 'n bietjie Afrikaans. Didn't you?
Maar Afrikaans is nie te goed nie.
Is dit net te lekker?
Nee, nie te lekker nie.
They say.
Even though I'm a Meyer.
Ja, Meyer. En waar kom jy van die Transvaal uit?
No, exactly.
En
So,
nou kan jy nie Afrikaans praat.
my Afrikaans is nie te goed nie.
Yes, so.
Ek is nie heeltemal totalig nie.
Nee. Okay, because I know the Durban guys, they don't. Daisy panic attack. I don't know that.
I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Brad? Brad, I don't know if he's going to go for that, if he's going to bite with that Daisy panic attack. I don't know what that's about, but it sounds quite lekker. Afrikaans, in Durban, they say, kan nie Afrikaans onderstand.
Onderstand.
Ja, onderstand, dis nie 'n woord nie, hoorie. Dis verstaan. Dis nie onderstand nie. I mean, the social, I mean, you like to, then you say the adrenaline rush for the business thing, but public speaking, that sort of thing, you're right with that?
Not good at that.
Not liking
No,
it. Not
no,
liking
no,
it
no.
too much. Eh?
You know, I don't mind as you doing the Bedford. That kind of thing. But
That's after
I'm
a few
not,
beers.
I wouldn't, and I wouldn't say I'm the best social speaker. No, I'm not so good at that. But,
you're
but
not
I enjoy,
comfortable.
I mean, obviously I enjoy being with people and talking to
Socialite.
people.
You're a bit of a socialite.
Yeah, but
you
not public speaking, not my best.
like
no.
being around people. It's like you don't like being alone for long periods of time.
I enjoy people. I enjoy being with people.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Because I'm like, my wife is like, no, give me a farmhouse, a little place on the Seychelles there. She'd probably
she's
think
happy with that.
She'd like that, yeah, she'd like that. Biggest learning experience you've ever had?
Wow. Gee, Gino, you got me.
I don't know. It could be
You
business,
asked me-
it could be anything. It could be.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think you learn.
It's normally mistakes that you
Yeah,
learn from.
well, but you know, you learn about life all the time, and probably I'm not sure. you've got me there.
It's like I mean, if I could probably rephrase it and saying when something's gone completely wrong, like in that case where you were doing the presentation and you were late for it, you made it through, you got it right. But
No, sure.
if there's a business decision that's gone wrong and it's totally gone wrong, and you just have to like forget about it,
And move on.
pick up. I mean, a lot of my guests have had those situations where they've actually lost everything.
Yeah.
And they've had to pick up the pieces and start again.
I've been fortunate that it hasn't happened to me, but
Okay. Bloody lucky
but
you are.
Yeah, I am. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky. But
Are you conservative in those sort of decisions?
yes, I am. I am a conservative person.
Okay.
So I don't like to take chances that I
Yeah.
don't think are properly calculated.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That
I am.
underbesport thing was that was.
Well, that was that was easy because
Yeah.
I wasn't financially involved. I was the marketing and sales director, so I was
Okay.
approached to sell it and to come into it and sell the product. So
Yeah.
yes,
But wasn't that a big move from? I mean, what were you doing before that? Was that
well, I was
the
in. I was
BMW
in.
story?
Yeah, well, that was initially. I was selling BMW.
straight out of fast.
When I first got to Joburg,
Yeah.
it was property. Then it was BMW. I worked for as a salesperson, and then after that, I went back into industrial and commercial property, Broad Property Group.
Okay, yeah.
But look, as you said, there were challenges.
Yeah.
We had when the interest rate crash happened during the time that we were doing the development at Peakenwood. Interest rates went to 24-25%.
Yeah, I
So
remember.
huge challenges. So you learn how to cope and how to make plans to make things happen. So
Yeah.
I did learn a lot from that. But
Maybe you're also probably more resilient than you think as well, because
I'd hope so. I think that
maybe you don't consider those things.
The
as-
Roche Island development took a lot out of me in terms of just having to do things that were out of
your
sorts,
comfort zone.
out of my comfort zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Colin was a great partner, but he always used to say to me, "Look, just make it happen." And I'd sit there at night thinking, "How am I going to make this happen? How the hell am I going to make this happen?"
But you did in the end.
But we did in the end. You always come out of those things.
Yeah. Incredible.
You're hitting me with some hard questions.
I know. We've got Gary's put some together here. I see. No, we're just skipping through them, so you can say boss if you want to as well, because he's just we sometimes give ones that don't apply. Your perfect holiday, where would you go?
I think I love being on the coast, and I love being at the
near the
sea.
sea.
So I think again, Deroche, my wife, always says to me and keeps on saying to me, "Why can't we go back there? Why can't we go back there? Because it's just so beautiful, To Deroche, so to an island, to the Mauritius, to Seychelles. We're actually going to Turkey in June. So I prefer to be, on a seaside resort or a beautiful destination like that, where the sea's involved, and cities and that kind of thing are not really my thing.
So pretty out of the way, but also a little bit of like a Club Med kind of vibe, or a Greek island kind of vibe.
Greek island,
like that kind of vibe.
Absolutely.
You'd enjoy the ships.
Gino, in fact, I haven't travelled as much as I should have. I haven't done a lot of travelling. So,
Well, maybe it's time.
It is time, and I'm going to start doing that now.
Is it? Well,
I
I'm
should
sure
have travelled more
your
than I
business
have.
partner is going to be happy to hear that.
He's the one telling me that I should travel more.
Really?
Grant goes to the States a lot and enjoys the States. So, yeah.
Turkey. So Turkey's there. Always think like you shouldn't book a holiday when you're hungry. You got to Brussels. How about that? No. Okay. Ever been a time that politeness or good manners have gotten you into trouble?
No.
No, not you.
I think politeness and good manners would not get you into trouble.
Well, yeah,
it should be.
It should be. But you never know. I think coming from Albany, the whole Grahamstown vibe as well. It's also very polite and very
it is.
They don't like to ruffle people's feathers.
No, not at all. And
are you quite direct though?
Yes, I am. I think I am. Yeah.
Can you be like a tough boss?
Not really. Not really.
Come on, Alex. Tell us.
No, not
tell
really.
us the truth.
I think if I want to get. When you say a tough boss, I think I can get a message over, but I never want to be horrible to people or unkind to someone or say the wrong thing or be too direct.
What would you say was the strength of your management skills for your employees or a failure?
Yeah, I mean, maybe my failure is that I'm not direct enough sometimes. I don't think that's a failure, but I think in terms of staff and that kind of thing, I think you've got to try and win them over. And I think if they've got to like you to a certain degree and understand that you're actually a good person and that you can then get the best out of them by, when you ask them to do something, they'll do it because they're actually trying for you. But if they don't like you, I'm not sure that, you would be able to get that far with them.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think I've always tried to be a person that I want people to like me. Yes, I want them to do what I'm asking them to do for me. But if they don't like me, are they really going to do it? So you've got to win them over in some way and then be a little bit more direct and more stern about what you want out of them. But I think you've got to be able to win people over first. I don't think you can be
friendly. It's
too
a
direct.
strength and a weakness.
It probably is, 100%.
Because it can go from being good to everybody and trying to win them over, but then also it goes to social anxiety or something where if they don't like you, then you've got to. Like me, I'll tell you, if somebody doesn't like my comedy or doesn't, it's like being having a knife in your heart.
100%.
It's a kind of personality type that you're. You've got to realize, okay, not everybody's going to like you. It's just you just got to accept it.
It is like that.
Okay, if you had enough money to never work again, what would your typical day be like, or what would your job be, or what would you do if you had any choice? You had no money problem ever in the world again. What you going to do?
Yeah, I think you always want to have something to do, but I mean, you often think about that when you get to this stage of life. You think, "Am I going to retire? Do I have enough money to retire?" But I suppose if I suppose if I did have that, I'd want to. I said it earlier. I'd want to probably go overseas for a while and travel a little bit, but I think after a while you'd want to come back into something. You want to have the security of doing something. But would I enjoy being totally retired or totally with all the money in the world? No, I don't think money is the most important thing in everybody's life. I think it's a means to an end, but it mustn't become, for me, I don't think it must become the be-all and end-all of who you are. But what I would do, I would think initially I would take time off to do exactly what I want to do, but I think in time you'd want to come back into something and want to do something and have a self-worth in a way,
I mean, I think you're right. And particularly now, as you get older, it's like 50 plus, then you all of a sudden your brain starts to think of these things like, what do you really want to do with your life? Would you change anything if you could go back again?
No, I don't think so. I think I've been very lucky and fortunate to do what I have done. So I don't think I can say would I change anything because I haven't really had any really bad experiences. I think in life, you go through patches where you actually look at yourself and say, am I doing well enough? Have I done well enough as a father? Have I done well enough as a person? Have I achieved enough in my life? And then when you look back at those that have achieved things, either because they got given them, well, not achieved, but they got given things in life, you look at that and say, well, are they happy?
Do they appreciate it?
Do they appreciate it as much as maybe we do? I mean, I've only started to, I came from a simple family in Grahamstown, and I was never given anything on a plate. And it's taken me a long time to get to where I am today. And it doesn't mean that I'm a very super wealthy guy. I'm just happy. I'm happy with where I am. I'm happy with my family. I'm content. And yes, I'd like to do. And I think money allows you to a certain degree to do certain things. But it mustn't be something that you're totally hell-bent on and totally dependent on, and that if you don't have it, you can't be happy, because I think you can.
And your kids and family, you got a wife and how many kids?
Yeah, I got a wife and 2 kids. My daughter, Ashley and Aiden. Ashley is also she went to Kingswood and she's finished there, and she's done and she's done very well for herself. She did management accounting honours, Stellenbosch, and she's writing her CMA exams at the moment. She's working in Johannesburg. And my son Aiden is in Stellenbosch. In 3rd year now, and going into 4th year next year. So, I'm very happy and very blessed to have lovely children and a lovely wife. And
it's really a measure of success as to the fact that your kids are getting through life and managing. It's like,
well, you hope they are, and you do know they are. You give them everything you can, and you hope that they can take that on and also develop themselves and that.
Obviously,
And
you've
if
known
they're
each other
happy,
for a long time as
yeah,
well.
we've been married a while. Yeah,
How
We've been
many years?
Over 25 years, 26
Over
years.
25,
26 years, I think it
It's
is.
getting, you know, the numbers are getting more and more.
No, it's
now.
26
So-
years. You got me with numbers.
It's
When I get home tonight, my wife's going to say, "Don't you know it's 26?"
Yeah, there's 26
26.
balls when you get 100. But, no, 26. I mean, and that's a testament to the type of person that you're. Obviously loyal, and obviously you haven't got into enough cuck to have cocked that one up. You know,
I've got a great wife. She understands me and all the stuff that you've heard tonight.
Yes.
She's had to put up with the bedfit and,
Yes.
and all that kind of nonsense. But yeah,
It's someone to lean on as well.
yeah,
She's strong.
No, absolutely, she is very much so.
Yeah, you need that person, that sort of wingman next to you
100%.
to get through this flipping life of ours.
No,
It's insane.
100%.
All right, couple more questions. She's giving me a whole page here, but we're going to just skip through a few and we just get a couple more for the last few. Yeah, I'd say the worst job that you ever had.
The worst job I ever had.
Worst job that you
Well, my first job I had in Joburg, working for an estate agent. As I said to you, they told me when I was at the Elizabeth Hotel that I would be working for this big company.
The four Joburg guys are thinking, geez, I need somebody to replace me.
And the funny thing is, I arrived, it was a small little family business called Basil Smith Estates.
Okay.
Look, they gave me a chance and it was fantastic, but they, they started me off in one of the worst areas in Joburg.
Oh, really?
And I can remember sitting on a plastic deck chair in a little townhouse that the previous people that stayed there obviously had cats, and it smelled terribly.
Like cat pee.
And I had these, I had these people, guests coming in to buy the units, walking through, and they were sort of walking through and saying, how much is this place? And I had noses and, yeah, it was one of my. It wasn't the best job that I ever had, but yeah, I did it for about a year and moved on. But you know what? In hindsight, if I didn't move to Joburg, and I wouldn't have got the opportunities that I got. So.
Exactly. We've got nothing against cats. It's just
No, absolutely not.
Oh no. How's your perspective of the world changed over time? Like,
It's an interesting place to live in. I mean, I think as you get older, you also see the world in a different light. There's so much going on now. There's so much politics. There's things have changed over the years for us. I mean, I grew up a very simple life in Grahamstown, and things have just become very complex. And the world's become complex, I think, and will continue to become more complex. Social media, which I've never really been part of. I mean, I still.
Well, now you are. You're all over the place now, Sid.
So the world is a complex place to live in, and it's becoming. I wouldn't say difficult, but different for us, our age group, to live in and to understand.
But as you get older, you kind of you don't sweat the small stuff as much.
No, 100%.
I find that, and I think. Any irrational fears? Are you got any phobias or anything like that?
No, I don't think so. No.
Snakes or?
No, not
snails
really.
or
No,
Brussels sprouts.
No, not Brussels sprouts. Anything like
Turkey.
that. No, turkey. I'm going there.
Okay. And the most unusual place you've ever fallen asleep?
Probably in the army, sitting up in a lecture. Yeah. I mean, it
In a
happened to all of us.
lecture? In a lecture.
Just falling asleep against the wall. With my
Oh.
helmet on. Yeah.
And like, cherry yellow.
Well, I mean, you probably went through that.
No,
didn't
no,
you?
I didn't. I
Didn't
missed
you?
the army. I
Didn't you?
was just like, I matriculated at 88. I was at varsity till like 90, 93, 94. So I was.
Oh, we used to
was
get
in
very
the
tired in the
dispensation.
army. You might have heard that. Huh?
Yeah, I know.
Sitting
I
there,
went to a
they had
couple
like
of camps.
lectures and
Okay.
to walk in and lecture.
To improve yourself.
Sort of lean against the wall and fall asleep with your hat on.
Your beret.
Yeah.
Oh, my word. Have you got any hobbies or anything anything else that you do any passions that you love? Like,
Well, I mean, I love sports. So
still.
my hobbies are really still
Still
golf
sports.
and that kind of thing. And anything to do with sports, I'll go and watch sport. If there's nothing to do on a weekend, I'll go and watch. I mean, this weekend I might go and watch Grey, for instance. I love schoolboy sport, and I'm probably just too one-dimensional. But I don't do woodwork or I don't play chess, and
you collect coins.
I don't collect coins.
Have you got any collections? You haven't got any collections?
No, I haven't.
You don't do that sort of thing.
no.
Don't like that.
So I play a bit of golf now, and that's it, and watch sport.
Your wife will know, so she can tell us on the comments if he's forgetting everything. Because we.
Well, she
often
came
have
in
that-
just now, but she's been very quiet.
Yes, I see that. Oh no. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Have you ever been in any car accidents, anything like that? Anything that you can remember?
Yeah,
Couple
but
of
not
crashes,
big, not big.
Not bigger.
I can remember
Yeah.
Varsity days again,
Okay.
coming back into Port Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Tim Shaw,
Yes.
Mark Rashmere, that were staying. All the guys were staying in the little townhouse complex, just as you come to the four-way crossing where the fire station is. Coming from
Albany Road.
and
Yes.
talking about that, coming
Yes.
from I
Five
think
ways.
Brad Paul's mom and dad's
really?
wedding.
Yes,
And
yes.
I unfortunately fell asleep, and my little Fuller went up against, if you're on the highway
Fuller.
in PE, Fuller, Volkswagen.
Oh,
Volkswagen, yeah.
Is that also
Went
an
up
Albany
against the
English
side,
thing?
went up, it's Eastern Cape,
Yeah,
bingo.
okay.
Went up against the side of the barriers, luckily.
Okay.
And nothing seriously happened. So
So
that is
just a bit of
my
a
biggest,
scratch.
a little bit of a scratch. And
Front bumper.
I still
just-
drove the car that evening back up, and I didn't get back to Res at Varsity.
Okay.
I went and stayed with Mark and Philip, I think it was at that time.
Okay.
But no accidents really. That's about the
Wow,
only
man.
one that I've ever been involved
Oh,
in.
that's brilliant. Let's see. What line should someone never cross with you? What makes you the Murin?
What makes me the Murin? Not a lot, but
You've got
don't.
quite a long fuse.
No, but don't. I think dishonesty.
Okay.
For me, integrity, dishonesty. Don't cross that line. I always say to people that I believe I'm an honest person, and I conduct myself in business and whatever I do in that manner. And if you do, the opposite to me, I would think, and I always say, if you're doing wrong in business or you're doing wrong in life, it'll come back to bite you one day.
Yeah.
So, to me, dishonesty,
Burn that. You don't want to burn those bridges.
yeah. To me, dishonesty is a big issue.
Well, I mean, the fact that you've gone through and you haven't any major, disasters in your career is a flag to say that you make good decisions in the end. I think.
I hope so, Gino. I
think.
think I think some people are lucky. I think you're lucky.
No, I don't know if it's luck. I think it's often the case of you. Maybe you could have been too conservative. Maybe you could have done
Correct.
huge things as well. He has a 6 foot. He's 6'4" and has a fear of heights. Oh, there we go.
That's my wife. Yeah,
There you
and
go.
Absolutely. I can't even climb on the roof,
Is it?
and I freeze.
Well, that's
Yeah,
an
so
irrational
it's
fear,
terrible. Yeah.
just in case you forget where did you go. But I've
mean,
had a lot of people like that.
She's talking about that. We were in Plet a couple of years ago, I think
Yeah.
it was. I don't know if you go on that walk. That's
Robberg.
it, Robberg. And there's a section of the Robberg, but I haven't gone there because my wife won't take me there because she knows better. But even if I've just got to climb up that first part,
really?
they've got a railing there. Have you ever been?
I think
So you hold
I
onto the
have
railing,
seen
and then when you go around the bottom, you go onto the beach and you come back up. And there's a little section that's got rocks, and you've got to climb up on the rocks.
Okay, okay.
And I remember she's probably referring to I got stuck on the rocks, holding on like this. And she said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "I can't move."
Go home.
She said, "Hurry
Get
up,
me."
we've got to get up on the top." I said, "I can't move." So it's terrible. I've got a terrible, terrible fear of heights.
Well, that's an irrational. It takes your wife to let us know what the truth is in these things. That's fantastic. A lot of people are scared of heights.
terrible.
It's probably been the biggest one that I've asked many. See, Gary's asking you to do the mosquito one, but we can do it while we do the competition. We'll do it. But
I don't think I can do it anymore.
no, we can.
The Blueberry Hill, we've done already.
Yeah, we've done Blueberry Hill.
Little bit.
We'll do it a little bit, the second verse or something. We'll do when we get going. But a lot of people have had a fear of heights. It's probably the biggest one, Gary. I think many would have asked. Huh? And spiders, spiders and
I'm all right with spiders. I don't like them, but I don't mind them being around or whatever.
except if they're very high up. It's been fantastic to have you on the show.
No, thank you, Gino.
so
Thanks
much.
for inviting me. It's been quite a nice experience, I must say.
And I think we can play off with Blueberry Hill. We got to get to the competition as well, but we'll do it maybe during the competition just to give them a bit of a, because we need some music while the thing's going on as well. while we get like a roulette wheel that goes.
Oh, okay.
And it does. The people that are online now, you can win some Fitch and Leads from Gary DeBrain. He's been kind enough to give every single show we've got a winner, and we get a case of Fitch and Leads sent to them. So they'll go.
Fantastic.
I don't know how it gets there, but maybe it's ITT.
ITT, we can take it for you.
We can take it. We could get ITT to bring it to you as well. So while they're doing that, we've got the draw going. We're going boom, 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 boom.
I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill.
Lee and Cleavy's one.
That's where I found you.
Lee and Cleavy's one.
On Blueberry Hill.
She won the Fitch and Leads.
The wind in the willows.
Boom, 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 boom.
Love's sweet melody.
Boom, 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 boom.
That's where I found you.
Boom, 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 boom,
On Blueberry Hill.
boom, 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 boom.
Right, Samir. That's it.
Fantastic, thank you. Thank you so much, Sid Meier. You've been an
pleasure.
absolute
It's a
legend.
pleasure.
It's been brilliant having you on.
Nice meeting you.
And,
Thanks, Gary.
It was great. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We're on Tuesday next week. We have still got to announce our people for next Tuesday. We'll keep an eye out. And of course, you can watch these again on YouTube anytime you like. Thank you to our sponsors, Sport, and of course, Fitch and Leads, as well as Amobia for holding our internet together tonight so nicely. So we've got a beautiful picture for all of you to watch. Clint Edison, how's it? All these guys here, the final couple of things. Barbara Manor saying, how's it as well? Gavin Biggs, how's it, Gavin? We're going to get Gavin on the show sometime soon as well. We're not forgetting about you, Gavin. And Barbara Manor too. Lovely to you. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. And we'll see you on Tuesday next week. Of course, it's always Tuesdays and Thursdays we're doing, but we are going to be changing the lineup soon as well. But so keep your ear to the ground for that. Thank you so much. It's been fantastic.
Pleasure.
Lovely.
Thank you,
Lovely,
Gino.
everyone. Thank you to Spa. Thank you to Fitch and Leads. Thank you to Amobia. And we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Indeed. Woo. Let's go.
Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. Drink, find a shop. Never mind your liver. Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.
Gino Shot!
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Get to Gino Spot.